shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testicles, testing, testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1182 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. So no one could make it today. Everyone ditched. I just wanted to get a lot of. I actually lied to everyone. I actually wanted to just do this podcast by myself and get a lot of views. So no one was here. No one's actually, I'm joking. Everyone's gonna be pissed. Everyone's here. What's up, fam? Let me bring everyone on and we can just say what up. Say what up. They can hear you.
Sweet. Hi, everybody.
Hey, guys.
What's going on, fam? So welcome everyone to episode 1182. And as you can see, joined by Alan Roberts, Michelle McDaniel, and John Glaude. Did I say that correctly?
You did say it right.
Very, I want to say Jean-Claude so bad, like
Yeah,
Jean-Claude Van Damme. So yeah, everyone's worried. They're like, oh my God, you're 5 minutes late. You're 5 minutes. It's all right. We're here. So let's do a little round table around just for anyone that doesn't know who any of these beautiful people are, Alan included. We'll start with you, Alan, and we'll go kind of like zigzag around, and you can introduce yourself to anyone that isn't in the know, and we'll just jump right in, bro. So go right ahead.
I'm Alan Roberts of Every Damn Day Fitness, Damn Serenity Athletics, and the Damn Collective, which is our businesses, and I'm best well known for being an internet loudmouth.
And a beautiful one at that.
Bald is beautiful, motherfucker.
It is. I agree. I don't have any personal experience, but someday maybe.
I don't know. You got a pretty fucking strong hairline there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we also
I don't think my hairline was ever that strong.
And we are here with Michelle McDaniel from My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You. And say hi to everyone.
Hey guys, my channel's My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You, and I'm known for offending people with my thoughts.
Everyone here is very offensive, and perhaps maybe the least offensive person. So the one that offsets the insanity. John, so what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? My name's John Glaude, as we got it right already. My channel name is Obese. So the basis of my channel is, at one point when I was 20 years old, I was 360 pounds, really afraid of dying pretty much at any moment. And I lost the weight, and then I started making YouTube videos, and now I make videos about other people that seem to think obesity is awesome. So,
So that segues perfectly into what we're obviously all going to be mostly talking about today, because we all make videos on, let's just jump right into what everyone wants to discuss. Fat acceptance. I think
we should all say hi to Tess, because she's going to fucking watch.
Put her right in the middle. Yeah, so fat acceptance, and we'll start, obviously, I mean, I'm not necessarily the loudest mouth in the room. I think Alan might take the trophy on that one. But we have this kind of congruence and this like dissociation between things like body positivity, fat positivity. I know people are saying that we're just getting more and more of these fucking words. And I want to kind of get everyone's opinion right here on the spot, what this actually means to you, why you make content on these subjects, why this maybe frustrates you. What are these kind of sticking points that kind of gets under your skin? Because it's not easy to create YouTube videos. It's a very controversial message, and not a lot of people can actually portray and convey this message and make it out alive, so to speak. So what's your personal experience with this, Alan? And we'll start with you. Just kind of what inspires you to make the content, what keeps you going, and what the big problem, I guess, essentially is underlying all of these issues.
Well, I was powerlifter overweight, but I was overweight. Like I don't even know my max weight, but like I remember stepping on a scale at one point in time, I was like 260. I was like, what the fuck? Like that's big. Like, and I reached a point where it was very diminishing returns. Like the more weight I put on, I wasn't getting that much stronger. Because for a while, like when you lift heavy, and John, you probably seen this too. With like your strength will go up if you just add some extra weight, right? And but it does like there's a diminishing returns. But also I started getting sick. Like I started having sleep apnea, all sorts of shit. So I've been in fitness a long time. So I just lost the weight. I wrote a book about it and all like that. But my wife and I own a business where we coach. Like we focus on coaching obese people to healthy weights. And the stories they tell you, most of them like it's amazing how many come from the aspect that they were in the fat acceptance movement. Amazing, like so many of them were like they because they just want to feel good about themselves, you know. And the distance to travel from being morbidly obese to healthy weight is a huge fucking distance. It's just much easier to say I'm okay, you know. And I find it like making videos on it is like a double-edged sword, because most of the time I don't get monetized. I don't get monetized that much anyway, to be real, with how I talk. But the biggest portion about it is like you have to ride a line of being very realistic, you know, because you have to be realistic. They've been pandered to enough. But I also don't allow, like, I don't even allow in my Facebook groups or anything like that, people to actually shame somebody, because like there's one thing between giving factual information and just trying to be fucking mean, you know? Yeah. And I think that the fat acceptance movement was born originally out of they just didn't want to be people being mean to them, which is totally fucking understandable. But now it's just stretched to the point where it's like we're at the point where we're suspending logic and fact. Like we're like that, like you. People saying you don't know if this person's healthy when the person's 400 fucking pounds. Like, yeah, I do. Fucking, because it's called gravity. Yeah. You know, like shit like that. So to me, it's my most rewarding content. I think I have one video I'm more proud of than my fat acceptance shit, and that's that. It's a suicide awareness video. You know, because I like telling jokes and I like being funny and everything like that. But like, I think this is like really fucking important work. Yeah, I really do. Because especially with so many overweight people, and it only getting worse. Like every time somebody says you're okay at 300 pounds. Like it puts another nail in their coffin, you know. And I think people like us, you know, and there's others like that. Look, I'm happy to see other people join in the fray. I really like Swole. That's how I found you. You know what I mean? Like that's I reached out to you one time. Like I fucking love that video, you know, because like I felt like I was just talking in the fucking wind. Yeah, right. You know, like, and I'm glad other people are talking about it, because it's a fucking major issue. It really is, you know?
Agreed. I mean, and John, you have, I mean, of all of us, I know, Alan, you lost a lot of weight. I mean, your earlier videos, you obviously cut down a lot. But I mean, John, let's talk about you for a second, because I know in your profile, I believe it said, 180 pounds? I don't know if it's more now. Yeah. But I mean, you're the only one here, as far as I'm aware, Michelle, that you have the experience. You've been there and you know what it's like to overcome that type of obstacle. And the reason why, and I'm assuming that's only one part of it, but you are a massive inspiration to millions of people, because, you know, if one man can do it, another man can do it. It just gives that kind of like, wow, if he could do it, I could do it. And he was 180. I have 180 pounds to lose. So what's your take on all this too? Because from someone with personal experience, you make very similar content, obviously with a different delivery, but effective nonetheless. So jump in on that.
For me, this topic is, like Alan said, it's life or death. And first off, I never planned on making videos like this. Like I've been making YouTube videos for a very long time, right? And most of like up until a few months ago, I wasn't doing like the commentary style videos where I'm talking about certain things and maybe giving my opinion, just because when you put your opinion out there on the internet, it's there forever, right? And I just didn't really want to deal with people being upset, because as you said, like I try not to really offend people as much as I can, just because like I try to understand where people are coming from. But it got to a point where I started like seeing the stuff of the fat acceptance. And I think that, like Alan said, like it comes from a place of like, when you're obese, you're like sick of always getting made fun of. And that's very true. You know, you do get made fun of a ton. It is hard. Like me being in high school, I dealt with a lot of stuff for sure, without a doubt. And I think everyone should be treated with respect and dignity, all of that stuff, without a doubt. But to respect someone is to also tell them the truth. And so to sit there and just spread lies and misinformation and give that to people that maybe if they didn't hear that, they would be willing to try and lose weight again. They would be willing to try and take back their life, because for me, obesity was taking my life, without a doubt. Like I was 20 years old, afraid of being alone in my house, because I was like, if I have a heart attack, what's going to happen? 20 years old, like literally thinking about my death every day. And so like, that's just not, I always say like, I was not living, I was just existing. And so what I feel like I was put on this earth to do, and what I feel like my job is, if you want to call it that, is to help people that want to get out of that situation. And so I always say, like, if you don't like my videos, if you don't like my opinions, you don't have to watch my videos. I'm not sitting here promoting my Instagram posts to get more engagement or anything like that. What I'm saying is for the people that are following me. So if you don't want to listen to it, unfollow, and I have no hard feelings. I understand if you're not in a position yet that you want to lose the weight, following me probably isn't going to be the most fun thing for you, right? So for me, posting these videos it's just a way of me being able to show people that, like you were saying, I lost 180 pounds, but that doesn't make me special in the slightest. There are way more people that have lost way more weight than me. There's nothing special about me at all, right? So what I try and do is just show people, if you change those habits and you just change things in your life, you can live a longer and a healthier life. So you can see your kids grow up, you can see your grandkids grow up. Like that's what I care about. So that's why, I make the videos. And then it gets to a point where, like we've all seen it, it's just gotten like the pendulum went from this way all the way over here, where it's about accepting everyone, which again, I think we all understand is from a place of love for a majority of the people. But I think the people on the very, very outsides and the people that are making money off of this, that's where the motivation is a little bit more insidious than just trying to be accepting. It's like, oh, I have a book that's making me money off of this. I have XYZ. These things I'm able to monetize this now. So now let me be over the top, right? Like Michelle just made that video about Sonali, the fat sex therapist. I made a video about her recently too. It's like,
so did I. What the fuck?
So that stuff, it's like, come on, like saying anything that like where you are maybe don't want to be obese, you're now a white supremacist, like making that connection. And then to me, it's like, I understand I am a straight white male, so it's like hard for me to talk about this stuff and without feeling like I'm going to get attacked. But like, I really don't I don't think it's right to equate obesity to being someone that, is a person of color or is like really has had to deal with things that they cannot change. Right. Yeah. And so that's a whole nother thing, but that's hilarious.
That's a problem because, and Michelle, not Michelle. I mean, you're up next, Michelle, but what's her name? Madeline started doing that in her Facebook group. That's where I was making content about it because it's talked about white privilege and stuff. Like, what does that have to do with your fitness app? What does that have to do with exercise and being healthy when you start adding these social issues and these stigmas? And you have to be like, even the fact that you have to tiptoe around because you're a white male, that is, I mean, you can make the argument there, that's racism. So, I mean, it goes both ways. If you are allowing that, like if you allow an inch, it's going to take a foot, a yard. They're just going to keep on pushing. But I mean, if you're trying not to offend anyone, I guess the best way to make sure you don't is to start a YouTube channel that says, that puts it up front. My thoughts will probably offend you. So
the hilarious thing, though, by the way, according to Sully Rushtoir, Michelle's a white supremacist.
I always saw you, Michelle, as a little bit on edge, but I never knew you were going that far with it.
That's the fucking hilarious part about that.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the video today, I was very blessed to assist with the rage, but I mean, it was all these posts that she's making. It almost seems like one of those fake accounts, like a Russian troll account. It almost feels like it can't possibly be real because how many?
She speaks at colleges.
Like she's actually a real person.
She speaks at colleges. They pay her to fucking speak at colleges.
That's insane. I see all you making. I've never made a video on that topic, but I might have to jump in on that. It's just, that's ridiculous.
That lady's account is like the fucking seventh ring of hell. I mean, like, it is so fucking crazy.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I don't think they know what to do with me because I'm black. They kind of recruit the black people. And I was obese, and I am like a woman that's not super thin, so I don't fit into the, media's beauty either. So they don't really know what to do with me. So they've tried to. I heard a lot of things about me, as in my boyfriend, because he's white. He's a white supremacist, so he's putting all these ideas in my head.
Oh my god.
My whole opinion changed on the situation. Oh my god. So it's like Manchurian Candidate over here. Someone's pulling the strings.
Yeah, and I come from an obese family. I mean, you can count on one hand how many people are not obese. Probably me, my mom, and my sister, and we all try to eat relatively healthy. And all my family's from the down south. They don't know a vegetable. I didn't even eat vegetables until I turned around 17, 18 years old. And then my other part of my family is up in Washington where it snows all the time. So they never really see their body or anything. And so they're just, a lot of people I feel like who live in cold places aren't very aware of their body. So they really don't work out at all. I was always someone who loved working out. Like, I love the burn. I love like getting my heart rate up. I love the sweat, but I also love to eat. But when you work out, you're extra hungry. And so I am just a natural eater. And when I say I can eat a whole cheesecake, I mean it. I've done it a couple times through my heavy binging years. I was up to 180. A lot of people don't believe that because I was very insecure. I hated taking pictures. Sometimes I'm still a little weird with pictures just because of
How tall are you, Michelle?
I was. Huh?
How tall are you?
5'2", so that's quite a bit. And I didn't find that out until I was at the doctor, and I was like, oh, I'm a little heavy there.
You look taller. That's why I thought we should give some reference.
Mm-hmm. So. Oh yeah. People always think I'm taller.
It's the angles. It's the lighting. It's the lighting.
Yep.
It's all about the angles. It's all about the angles.
I'm only ask the internet. I'm only like 5'5".
I saw that last time you were on. People are trying to troll.
Oh my god! I do not know what the fuck's up with that. That's crazy shit.
It's ridiculous.
So people never really told me that I was fat because a lot of my weight was the lower body, and girls seem to love that kind of stuff. So I know where the body positive, they like to tell people that they're curvy and thick, and I got told that for so long, and that's why I made that video. You're not curvy, you're obese, because I was never morbidly obese, but I was definitely eating whole cheesecakes and a couple bags of hot cheese. I mean, you're on the way.
You're an ankle injury away.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole part of and Alan, you touched upon these in your videos when you have like The Biggest Loser, when you have people doing box jumps and step ups and running down a hill. It's nauseating. And John, I'm sure if you were, what was your heaviest weight? I know you lost a lot of weight, but what was I don't know if you mentioned that.
My heaviest that I ever saw was 360. I honestly think I was heavier than that because I actually saw 320. And that was when I had already lost a lot of weight before I went to the gym. So I just say 360. But like, if I look at the pictures, like all of my friends were like, you were probably heavier than that. But 360 is what I've always said.
Right. And you see in these shows and people are running down hills, like they're literally running down hills, 300-400 pounds. Like, what did you do? Like, did you do anything like that? I mean, that's an injury waiting to happen. Like Alan said, you just stepped wrong. I mean, we all do that. I mean, I step wrong sometimes. I'm like, oh shoot, you get a little like tweak for a second, but then it goes away because it was just a little bit of a, quick movement. But if you're 400 pounds, you multiply that by 50, that's a broken ankle.
It's The Biggest Loser. I actually interviewed a guy that was on The Biggest Loser. He got the top 3. Think of the second to last season that they had before they brought it back.
That was the season.
Yeah, he was. I think he played rugby. But that show, I can see that I'm sure it inspired a lot of people to actually get moving. But I think that there's a lot of people that also did the opposite because of how intense they would make the workouts and how fast the people would lose the weight. My mom would watch this. She loved the show, right? She would cry all the time because she'd see me walk in, watch the show. I'm bigger than some of the people on the show. It was not fun. It was like the worst thing to walk into the living room like, oh, great. Like my mom, she still has carried a lot of guilt for my size. That's a whole nother topic. But so I would see the show and I would think I need to do that stuff. Like that's the only way I'll lose the weight. I actually applied for the show at one point with me and my mom. They had a season where it was like a family season, right? My mom wasn't nearly as big as I was, but she tried everything to get me to lose the weight. But yeah, those shows, I think that they inspired a lot of people, but I would say more than that, they put a really bad idea of what weight loss truly is in the mindset of people, because you'd see people lose 100, 200 pounds in a matter of months. Everyone got used to being like, oh, I need to lose weight fast. The faster I lose the weight, the better. And we know the faster you lose the weight, usually the faster you put it back on. Yep. And so those are my thoughts about that. And then obviously the workouts are just I didn't know anything about workouts before. Some of
those fucking workouts I don't think I could fucking do.
Yeah, they're intense. They're intense. So
my whole training scheme is based off volume. Like I am known for it. There's a couple of those fucking workouts. I'm like, God damn, what the fuck? Like, are they pumping straight amphetamines in these people or whatever?
I mean, that's true. That's a good point. But
I can relate to what John was saying, because when I was losing, I was never super, super heavy. Of course, like people think that you have to be like 200, 300 pounds to be like big, but I was pretty big. But I would use The Biggest Loser as like my motivation every Wednesday or whatever night it came on. I would watch it to help like reset my mental focus and whatnot. And it kept me on track, but at the same time, I was like, well, these people are like 300 pounds. Why am I not losing all my weight as fast as these people? Mm-hmm. So it did kind of like when I got to a certain weight, it was like maybe a 0.5 to 1 pound every couple of weeks. And I was like, well, I should be losing a lot of weight too, when I wasn't, educated in what it what happens when you start losing weight when you get to a certain point.
Where do you all think? Where do you think the split happened? Because this is only a recent thing where it's all been. It's okay to be healthy, and the healthy at every size. I mean, that's where it's really that the Sonali woman. That's when it really just expands to be this ridiculous, poisonous indoctrination around colleges. Like, you're spreading this to young minds and you're passing this off to people. And from a real cynical point of view, I could see this like you're just giving people an excuse to not train. Like, why work hard? You're entitled to lose weight. You are okay and beautiful the way you are. They're confusing self-love and self-respect with health. And that's where the science and the emotion, like we've all talked about, like I don't feel diabetes today. Like, either you have it or you don't. Like, it's like, I'm feeling.
There's a couple portions. There's a couple portions, and it's all money. Okay.
For sure.
The one of the biggest portions about it is the majority. Like, they're the biggest voting block there is. Like, I mean, and I say they, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to fucking separate, fit people and them, but we're already picked. We're the fit people. We're the biggest minority there is. We're an even smaller minority than like atheists and shit like that. Like, there's 10% of the country that's actually fit people. Like, goes to the gym religiously, eats religiously, does everything to try to extend our lives. We are also the block of people, and I'm not even talking about like bodybuilders and powerlifters, but the just fit people. We're also the block of people that actually accesses our healthcare the least, by the way, statistically speaking, by like thousands and thousands
Totally
and
true.
thousands of dollars, right?
Sure.
But if you look at it, diabetes is a fucking epidemic. Like, people don't even understand how ridiculous type 2 diabetes is right now. And I talk about it all the time on my channel. We're like, within the next 5 years, we're probably, as a country, going to spend $1 trillion on diabetes, right? A fucking $1 trillion. And it is almost never fucking spoken of. And yet, I mean, like, they still have vending machines that sell like 24-ounce sodas in high schools and shit like that, like full sugared sodas. It's because there's money involved. The fast food industry is $200 billion a year. The soda industry is $200 billion a year. They're dwarfed by the diabetes industry. The diabetes is a fucking industry, with all diabetes support medications, the checkups, all that shit. Like, the average person that has diabetes pays $400 extra a fucking month. It is a crippling thing. Like, for a middle class person to have diabetes, it is a financially crippling thing. You cannot accumulate wealth enough to support yourself in retirement, pretty much, if you have diabetes. It's almost impossible, right? Because you're paying $5,000-$6,000 extra a year on a middle class income. That's some harsh shit, you know? But you have that, you have the clothing industries, and nobody wants to tell the biggest voting block there is of 70% obese and overweight people that they're wrong. Like, they're making money, and it's a huge voting block. So they don't want to fucking
brought that up because a couple of Sonali's followers found my video and they kept saying how dieting is actually killing everybody. And when I posted the statistics, they just blocked me.
Yeah.
Dieting's killing everybody.
Easier to block you than actually retaliate with an actual fucking point. I mean, we deal with that all the time. And we, in the private messaging group that we were talking about earlier, Alan, with form and all this other shit going on online, it's easier just to like shut someone out and not see that. I mean, we've had that recently, even, back when I started, my channel started growing with Brittany Dawn, like deleting comments. Like, people don't want to show both sides, and that just it's something you can't protect because that person has control over their comment section and what they allow through. But at the same time, most people, I like to think the audience is educated. So everyone watching, I love you. I think you're smart. But at the same time, a lot of people don't have the time to dig in to actually analyze the situation. And if you watch one video, come on, everyone here has hundreds, if not thousands of videos. We're going to watch every single video to get context on our channels. You can see one video, make a comment, or take one piece of information, Instagram, kind of hit it and quit it, and then leave to go do something else. And you kind of formulate your opinion. It's one of those things where you have the voting. I love that angle, Alan, because obviously the money itself is just ridiculous, and everything.
Oh.
And everything with the medical, and most people don't get that. I made a video the other day about the Cheetos thing. It's just every time, and I use the analogy, every time you're purchasing any food, you're voting for that company. You're saying, here's some money so you can continue doing what you're doing. I'm not saying that you can never have anything naughty. I'm not saying you can never have a chocolate chip cookie, but everything from Instagram nutritionists, everything from when you're purchasing on the street, like you're investing in what you want the growth to be. Like what country, what society, what, I guess, end result do you want? But it's all about money. If you bring it all the way back to money, always money and control, it's just, we're so deep in. So where do we start? I mean, we're making YouTube videos. We're trying to play our part, and there's an audience, of course, of diehards. Each and every single one of you has just hardcore, like overwhelming positivity, even when we touch upon these delicate subjects. So just like someone who is abusing their millions of followers and just, spreading nonsense, each and every single one of you, I'm sure as your channel has grown, you've kind of felt a growing sense of responsibility to make sure that your message is congruent, as well as, being yourselves and being authentic. Like, who wants to chip in on that?
Well, what you were saying, man, like I am not somebody that likes controversy. I'm not someone that likes getting into this stuff.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Because I feel like what we're doing is needed. That's why. And so that's why I do it, because I think that, like Alan was saying, I think it's good that more people are getting in on this, because for so long it's been almost scary for a lot of people to maybe state your opinion, because maybe it's going against the grain. And so having more people stating the opinions and then seeing our comment sections that we're not restricting, which I kind of wanted to get into a little bit, but that we're letting anybody say what they want, and people are seeing, oh, there's actually a lot of support here. It's not this person that's yelling into a corner, just crazy person, like, oh, there's a lot of people that are supporting this. That's why I get so, I don't want to say like frustrated, but it genuinely like kind of bums me out when people like the Sonalese or people like that will make the most inflammatory remark possible, and then their comment section is restricted to where only people that support that are going to comment. So a passerby, all they're seeing is the support saying, this must be what everyone thinks now.
I feel like with those people, it's completely about money too. Like they have to keep a certain thing on there, a positivity on their Instagram, so then everybody who comes on there, like, oh, everyone's, people are very pack animal, like, oh, everyone's agreeing with them, so then maybe she's right,
I mean, that's something similar to what they're doing. I think we've kind of touched upon that briefly with Instagram removing likes, and you're not seeing likes, and you're not going to be seeing followers. Like that's kind of where they're transitioning to. And the general consensus underlying is that they're trying to improve their ad platform. So if they take away the influencer marketing aspect, they're able to bring the money back for ads for, going through Facebook and going through Instagram. So a lot of these influencers, they get a big following, they're getting a lot of engagement, whatever. But these companies can, of course, you pay the influencer privately, and then they post a picture, they, use my discount code, save 10%, this, that, and the other. So you have it going both ways. You have this kind of poison, this kind of mentality, obviously, about the money. People want to make money. People have to make a living. But if you're providing a service and a valuable service and valuable content, it's a little bit more appropriate. But I mean, who's to judge? And I'm not one to judge like, oh, your content's valuable. I'll state my opinion, just like all of us. But at the same time, who can determine what's good or bad? It's very subjective. But you also have this, and Alan, you've mentioned this, of course, and you've made videos on Stephanie Buttermore. You have it going both ways, where you have the overweight. Okay, this is okay. This is healthy. This is acceptable. Blocking comments. What I'm doing is great. We have a great community, X, Y, and Z. And then people like John, you said, they're getting the wrong idea because they're only seeing the positive aspects. But then you have fitness influencers, fitness people that are using fitness as an excuse to advertise stupid exercises, binging. Like any of these people that are doing these fancy, ridiculous handstand, jumping, flip, push-up things, that's not how they built a physique. That's not how they actually got that way. Most of these people are lifting weights and then going and doing something fancy on the pull-up bars and then posting a video, getting views. And likewise with, for example, Stephanie Buttermore, the binging or the 10,000 calorie day challenges. James Linker did that one on like 20,000. Like it's what's next? 50, 100? Like when's someone's stomach going to fucking explode before YouTube starts like looking at these videos and kind of.
Well, especially for like the mukbangs, and John, you did a great video on the mukbangs. I thought the video was awesome.
Thank you.
How like they would never allow, like this was in my last video. Was it my last video? I don't know, but last video or the video before, I don't fucking know. YouTube would never allow like an alcoholic drinking themselves to death on
a
YouTube.
snuff film. I think we were talking about that snuff films and stuff.
And they would never allow somebody like chronic, like Eugenia Cooney was going to get taken off YouTube. I almost guarantee that's one of the reasons why that was one of the catalyzing moments. Like, the outcry was fucking amazing. Like, it really, really was.
You'll never see that kind of outcry with Tess Holiday.
But it's the same, like, and I agree, it's the same fucking thing though. Like, yeah, I really believe that something has recently happened with Tess that and I guess I'm hopeful. You know, and I mean, call me a big old softy. But I really am hopeful that, like, she's seen the light, because I think she's lost a little bit of weight. That was my last video. I think she's lost a little bit of weight. I really do. And I think I think that, like, it reached a tipping point where she fucking had to. You know, she just fucking had to. And her audience is gonna eat her alive. They're gonna fucking eat her alive.
I agree. She, without a doubt, because we were talking in the DMs about it. I do think she's lost weight, and I'm very happy for her, because I didn't know for the longest time, up until a few weeks ago, I didn't know that she had kids. She had a kid. That's terrifying. That's terrifying to me. And so I think that's great. It's just unbelievable that she is in a position now where she can't even talk about it, be happy about that. Because I don't care who you are. If you're at a place where your health is getting ravaged by your weight and you start losing weight and you feel better, like, that's an exciting thing. That's something you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. She can't talk about that, and now if she does, she's gonna get ripped apart. Yeah. And so, like, I mean, I kind of feel bad for her, to be honest. Like,
yeah, she's a horrible person. I don't fucking do. She's a horrible fucking person.
I think something happened where a doctor probably told her, you're gonna die, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, eating a whole cake like she did. And you keep posting that video, Alan, of her eating the cake from the center or whatever she's doing.
Like,
but I do
savage.
think something happened, because there was such a split shift in her content when it was all about body positivity, and now it's, you know, taking pictures with trainers and working out and moving for her mental health.
Well, the Mazzy Arias thing, that was a money thing. Like,
probably.
Because it turned into.
Does she work with Kim Kardashian?
Alan, explain what you just said, Alan, because just in case someone else, people watching or listening, don't know what you're talking about. What thing were you referring to?
She was doing this thing where she was working out with a celebrity trainer called Mazzy Arias, and I'm sorry, Mazzy, I use quotes because anybody that believes in healthy at every size is not a real fucking trainer. But not that she's gonna give a fuck, but I don't give a fuck about her, so we're even. And she was posting videos on her, like, and she's actually in Cosmo UK this month with the videos posted about those workouts, saying that she's fit, strong, and 300 pounds, like, fucking whatever. But it turns out that all of a sudden she's promoting Mazzy Arias's Fabletics line. You know, it's money.
Money,
you know,
money.
It's a 2 million follower Instagram person, a 1.9 million follower Instagram person with completely polarizing audiences, trying to collect whatever money they fucking can from either, you know, and that's the fucking bullshit. I mean, that's where I think Tess worked her way into a fucking corner, you know, because eventually with all of them, like, somebody actually went, and we're about to get a little dark here, but somebody said, well, you know, she's rich and she's that. I was like, I hope she spends every fucking dollar, like right now. She doesn't need to worry about retirement. She needs to spend every fucking dollar. Be as happy as you fucking can. Do what you can fucking do, because 10 years from now, my old ass is still going to be around. She's not.
Yeah.
Period. You know? Yeah. And even if she gets healthy right now, there's still a good chance she's fucking 34, something like that. And, you know, when I first made my first video of her, she was saying she was 250 pounds. She looks like she gained another 100 pounds last year at one point in time. Like, at one point in time, I was like, holy fuck, she's big. Like, and a lot of people don't know this. I actually sent her a message from one of my other accounts, like, I know you hate me, but please do something. You know, like, and I occasionally do shit like that because I'm not as mean as I portray, I think. But, you know, I think that right now, like, she didn't post, like, the trainer posted about that in my last video, that Joshua Hopkins, and he seems like a great guy. I didn't want him to get any fucking flack. He seems like a great guy, but he posted about it. She didn't. And to me, that almost kind of says, like, you know, she's actually trying to lose weight, because he is a fat loss coach. He owns a company called Shed Fat. Like, it's
like what you said, John. Like, you can't, like, she put herself into a corner, but a lot of these kind of social activist people, there's no other option but to go deeper, because if you come out, then you're a hypocrite. So when you sacrifice your following, again, very similar to what Madeline Georgetta did, a big following, and all of a sudden you flip the script, and then people are ostracized, people are exiled, And that's where this kind of stuff gets dangerous, because it has this veil of compassion and all accepting, and, oh, we love yourself. You're beautiful the way you are. You don't agree with us? Get the fuck out. Like, that's not accepting. That's not compassion. That's not kindness. That's our way or the fucking highway. And it's important to understand that there's multiple ways. And what I try to get across in the content, because you want to get people's attention. So you have that shock value. Maybe, John, maybe you don't go for the shock value quite so much, but you rage on camera and you fucking flash, and then you get people's attention, but then the message comes through, which is why we have positive followings. But at the same time, it's still something that is a serious issue that underlies that kind of, it's like that. It's just that virus, that thing that just gestates and grows, and then it undermines any kind of common sense. And it still comes back to the social issues, how people feel versus the reality. So now Tess is losing weight, and I saw that thumbnail that you posted, and she looks like, you can tell if you're in the fitness industry for a while or you've been obese, like you can tell like there's less density there. Like she's almost like she's got that like little melting kind of aspect
like
going on.
Like a good 40 pounds.
Yeah, it looks like it's very noticeable. For the average person, they might not notice, like she might just look overweight, but if you've been looking at her picture, she doesn't look as bloated and as like tight and full, which is great. And I don't think no one here wants her or anyone to die. That's the point.
Wow.
The point is when you're spreading from 5 million people and you're like, oh, beauty, I'm fit, strong at 300 pounds. The only thing that's strong with you is the gravitational pull. Like you need to make fundamental changes.
I wish I would have thought of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, you like that? The force of gravity is strong with this one.
Gravitational
pull. There you go. Bust out a couple.
People that watch us and think that we want these people to have like this horrible health and die. But I think, at least for me, I feel like with you guys too, we want them to have a positive health and improve their health. No, we're not talking about them to be mean. We're talking about it because we don't want people to, follow down that path.
For sure. And there's also this aspect of, okay, we care about the person. We want them to be healthy for themselves. But when you flip that switch and you start broadcasting to hundreds of thousands, obviously millions of people, it's not one person. I'm looking out for those 5 million rather than that one person. It's kind of like that. All right, do you sacrifice one for the many? But the message is being broadcast to a lot of gullible and people that need that kind of, and John, you had that same situation when you're talking about your mother. She felt guilty for your obesity. Now, everyone has to take individual responsibility, which I'm sure you can agree. But at the same time, if you're obese, how does that usually translate? The parents are obese, the sisters are obese, the family's obese, the coworkers are obese. So you have no community to stick to something. I mean, one of the biggest things with addiction is that you don't have that strong support system. You don't have those people around you that are keeping you on track. And like when your whole world is virtual, when your whole world is everything that you see online and that you connect with online, that's your group, that's who you follow. You can follow certain people and unfollow other people. And then your world is just, oh, I'm beautiful the way I am. I can have that cake. The foods that I restrict are the foods I'll crave. Well, if you're addicted to them, yeah, you will fucking crave those foods. So it goes it goes really deep. And that's why I know we all make this content for that reason in part.
Michelle, yours was hot Cheetos, right? You joked about it, but it was.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that because you brought up Oreos in that video, and you talked about eating all 3 rows and how they want you. And that was my other thing. Like, I loved Oreos. I could easily eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dunk it in the milk.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask John actually, because when Sonali said that food addiction is a myth,
oh my God, no, it's not.
It's like shocking when I say this, but I still feel like I'm addicted to.
You are.
I'm still addicted to hot Cheetos.
Food addiction is a real fucking thing. I mean, anybody watching out there, food addiction is especially our food now, because most of it's not even really fucking food. But food addiction is a real fucking thing. It has biological and emotional components. It is not even something to be ashamed of. It is literally how society is set up to be almost. But you need to address it, or it's going to fucking kill you. For real. Anybody that says it's a myth can fuck off. I mean, I know people that black out. That clinically black out. Where they will all of a sudden have eaten a half a loaf of bread or a loaf of bread, and they'll be like, it was like watching an out of body experience. Binge eating, food addiction, things like that are fucking real. They're very fucking real. And the problem is the fat acceptance community makes light of that shit. I know for me, and this is no shit. At one point in time when I was big, I could fold an extra large pizza in half and eat it like a fucking calzone, fucking and smash it. And I'm talking and just fucking crush it and still be good. Like, I mean, like, but I could eat pizza. Like, there's a place called Cece's. I don't know if they have them around your guys' area.
Oh, like the buffet? The buffet?
Yeah, we had to stop fucking going because I'd make myself sick. Like, I mean, like, 'cause, I mean, it's a buffet of fucking.
I get like that. Like, I don't know why I thought it was so fun to. I don't know if the sickness part was fun, but it didn't matter. Like, I just loved to eat. Like I said, when I had the whole cheesecake, I ate half. I felt sick. I threw up, and then I was ready for more, so I ate the rest of the cheesecake.
John, what was your food?
What's that?
Everything.
Was it everything?
Man, so for me it was. I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about because you were talking about, one, food addiction is very real. And it's crazy. It's silly to me that these people that are all inclusive are so quick to exclude people, right? So like someone that might feel like they're addicted to food, now you're saying, no, you're not addicted to food. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm addicted to food. But I
can't say no to the fucking shit. So.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. I haven't seen that yet. So that's new to me. But for me, I mean, I would eat. So I've lived in San Diego my whole life, right? Grew up here. And so Mexican food is very popular. So something that I would get all the time was a California burrito, which is basically like a carne asada burrito with French fries inside of it. French fries are still my favorite food on the planet. I had to stop. It's been like 2 months since I've had any because I wasn't having them every day. That's besides the point. But I would have that. I would have like any Mexican food. But like a general lunch for me would be, so I was addicted to soda. I drank minimum a 2 liter a day. Ooh. And so I would drink, because I would go to 7-Eleven, get the double gulp, which is 2 liters. And I would drink that just with a snack, right? But so I would go to McDonald's and I would get the large drink, large fry, 2 McDoubles, and 2 McChickens. Because one wasn't enough, so I would have to have 2. But yeah, that was my normal. And again, like going back to what we were saying, it's weird that this community of people that, again, I think that the core group of people that met following Sonali or whoever we want to use, they truly do probably are just wanting to be accepting of people. But I think the more insidious thing is that it feels like for them to include one group of people, they have to exclude another group. And I think the best example of that is, Alan, you talked about it, and then I made a video about it, was that fatness spectrum thing, right? That was going on. Right? So it was like there was like 4 different, there was like light fat, medium fat, super fat, and infinite fat. Infinite fat 1 is hilarious. I'm sorry. That's really funny. If someone called me that in high school, I would have been shattered. But I mean, props to the girl that made that, because that is funny. And yeah. And to be fair, the reason she made it was to just kind of talk about clothing sizes and how it's hard to find clothing for people, which I understand it's very hard. I wore like a couple shirts when I was my heaviest was I was wearing a 6XL shirt and a size 56-inch waist. So there was like only a couple places I could go to get clothes, which is frustrating, but it is what it is, right? So I understand that that's why she made that, but at the same time, it's all you're doing now is you're so against these labels, and then you're creating your own labels to now be like, well, I'm infinite fat, so I don't, like, you're just small fat. So, like, you don't understand. And it's just like, why to include people? It's like we have to exclude other people. That's what I don't understand.
That's the only way that's how you create a cult. You have to keep people engaged. And if you don't have an enemy, people aren't going to be excited. And that's what happens with, I mean, we're not have to get political, but that's what happens with extreme leftist socialist regimes, because all of a sudden, you know, who has nothing and who has less, and everyone always has something else that you want to eliminate. So if they're not infinifat, eventually the infinifat people are going to keep on ostracizing the mega fat or the super fat. And then all of a sudden it keeps on excluding, and you have all these little factions. And you're going to have the separate super fat and the moderately fat. And then you have all these little subgroups, and it's just all disconnected, and you just chop things up even more.
Yeah, 2 things about that. One, if you're infinifat, the last thing you need to be worried about is fucking clothing labels.
Sure.
All right, like, just if you're out there and you classify yourself as infinifat, you can hate me all you want. You're about to fucking die soon, painfully. Change that shit. The other thing, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I don't see stuff as left wing and right wing. I see stuff as political and not. Like, politics want to keep, like, everybody like both sides want us to label ourselves. Like, both sides want us to be as separate as possible as people because it's easy for us to war against each other and shit like that. And it's easy for us to like, I see the four of us like sitting here as like, even though me, especially Dash and I, Michelle, you do a better job of not being so ragey. But I see the four of us as people that speak out against stuff that's gained very, very, very high popularity and notoriety in society. You know, and honestly, I'm actually, I'm very shocked. My channel is not even just doing well still, but on fucking YouTube. Like, because for a while it was like I was getting barraged with like they were trying to fucking shut it the fuck down, you know, shit like that. But I see it as, I mean, money is made on both sides. As long as they can, as long as they can have us labeling each other and talk and going against each other, that's fine. Like my problem is right now, as long as there's money in marketing, like the other day, I was watching all of our videos because I knew we were all going on. At any point in time, I saw a fast food video on each one of our videos. You know, wow. Like all of us kind of like, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm not like, I am very, very to the point where I will eat out dinners and stuff like that, but I haven't been through a fast food window in fucking forever because it's the lowest quality food made. Like the food that you get at a fast food restaurant, by the way, just in case you're all watching, is the lowest bidding food. You pay the people the lowest amount of money you can to produce the food, both like all the way through the spectrum from procurement, processing, assembling, everything, selling. It's the lowest possible bidder for the food product and for the labor. So you're eating garbage, you know? I mean, you're just eating garbage. So I don't fucking do that, but I've seen all the ads on all of our videos. Like everybody thinks that YouTube in itself is like a left-wing, you know, is a leftist company. Bullshit. I call it total bullshit because they will take, they're about money. They'll take ads from anybody. So they will pander to a certain audience that they think has the majority that is watching them because they pay very, very close attention to their own analytics. But in reality, they're about money. They're not. I mean, they're about the politics of money, and most politicians are. So it's not like I understand Dash. I get what you're saying because like it's viewed as the left-wing politics is all about the safe. I want
to clarify. I mean the extreme of either side. Because if you go completely to the right, I mean, and again, I really try to stay out of politics type stuff. Yeah. But the right with neo-Nazi, like that's it goes both ways. You're very exclusionary. So I want to clarify that's not necessarily just the left. That was just.
But if I get what you're saying. But if you go to the left, it's like everybody needs to love everybody. I get it. But if you go to the right, everybody needs to be able to buy whatever the fuck they want to buy. You know, I have a firm belief that no 13-year-old needs to buy a 24-ounce Red Bull. You know, I just fucking believe that. You know, and I know I'm the old motherfucker, but I know what a 24-ounce Red Bull does to my fucking 205-pound ass. 100-pound 13-year-old does not need to fucking have that shit. You know, the weird thing is like you can't buy caffeine tablets, or you can't buy powdered caffeine online. Like you can't buy powdered caffeine anymore to make your own pre-workout because that's what I used to do. You have to buy it in tablets, but you can buy a case of fucking Red Bull, you know, like, or highly caffeinated drinks or pre-workout. I got 13-year-olds messaging me, what's the best pre-workout for me? Like
all the time. When did they ban the caffeine? Is that something new?
Powdered caffeine's been banned for a while.
Really? Because I used to buy it like crazy because it was the cheapest thing. You put in like, a little tablespoon, but you screw up, you put in a you screw up and put up a tablespoon, you're dead. Didn't some kid recently died from that? Wasn't it like there's caffeine in his protein or something?
I don't know.
Did any of you saw that? I saw some kind of like article that some guy actually like died from overdoing caffeine or something like that, which is easy to do. You need like a microdose, but it's like, it's this huge weird split because in other countries, it isn't as free like this. It's not as, I guess, completely debaucherous, if that's even a word. It seems like other countries have their shit more together. I haven't done a lot of international travel. I don't know if any of you have, and you've like personally experienced that, but all the time in the comments, it's always like in the US. It's just so much worse. And I'm sure because it comes back to what you were saying, Alan, everyone else, it's about the money. And when the money is the main focus, you don't have to be left. You don't have to be right. And I agree with you 100%, Alan. YouTube is not one way or the other. They're about making their platform grow. They're about getting views. They're about bringing people, and they'll block someone if people have outrage. They'll allow things if people like it, if it brings them ad revenue, which is another thing. Obviously, Alan's videos don't get monetized often. Mine are just yellow dollar signs all the way down. So it's, it's a difference between trying to get your message out and, that kind of discrepancy with, how you're delivering your message. So if they're not running ads on your video, they're not going to promote it to as many people. They're not going to have it in the suggested as much. So that's where like the subscriber base comes in. You're able to say things and get some traction based on clicks and watch time and things like that, because people are actually engaging because they see when you post a new video. But it's very hard to get traction when you're saying things that are controversial, because everyone here, obviously, you make YouTube videos, the tags, you put a certain tag, boom, demonetized. You take away that tag, and it's usually body positivity, fat acceptance, obesity. Nope, you're not getting paid. And it's like, all right, not everyone makes all their money off YouTube revenue, especially not anymore. But it's a problem because they're judging what you can get paid on and what gets traction, which is essentially, whether you're left or right, it's controlling the message to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
I
Michelle.
just think it's very interesting that, coming back to the Sana Lee thing, that she makes all these pretty dangerous claims, like food addiction is a myth and you should, stay fat or infinity fat or, those type of things. But if we put certain things up, such as talking about the facts about obesity, then we get demonetized, or our stuff doesn't get advertised as much, but they can.
It's a startling fucking thing about her. She is actually a licensed social worker for New Jersey NPA. She's a licensed social worker. She actually has a fucking post. I posted on my Instagram. I think that might have been in my video, where she actually says it's okay to disable yourself by being too fat.
I saw that.
It's so fucking.
She put some damaging things out there that she can promote and say and still get, advertised and whatnot. But if we talk about, like you talk about the statistics with obesity and how many people are dying from diabetes, then you get a yellow dollar sign. Oh my God.
I mean, not like the science denial right now. And I so wish James could have been here, but the science denial is just fucking crazy. Like, I mean, the science denial of obesity, like the claims of, if your doctor says they need to weigh you, tell them you don't feel comfortable. What the fuck are you at the doctor for? Like, as a newsflash, like, a lot of medications that you're going to be on, if you're too afraid to get on a fucking scale because you're going to be on them, they need to know your weight so they know what the dosage to give you, because it titrates at different fucking body weights. It's like science and shit.
Like, that's the kind of thing we used to do with training. You would have someone overweight, you have them carry a 50-pound dumbbell around a couple feet, and you're like, this is what you're carrying around extra. It gives them perspective. And if your doctor can't be honest with you, then why the fuck are you going to the doctor? Yeah. I mean, it's a scary thing, but that also translates into the credibility factor, because classically, you go to the doctor, you don't ask about their diploma, you don't try to confirm what their education was. And of course, education, the system, you have people that are biased, teaching other people, creating bias, and that whole part of the industry. But also, you're getting on Instagram and social media, it's getting to the point where there's this huge, right now, because social media is so still fresh, I think we take it for granted that we think we're experts with social media and with this kind of like new society. But when you put a PhD, when you have an MD, when you have a nutrition certification, all of a sudden you put that in your bio, and it becomes extremely weaponized, everything that you say. So if she says she's a social worker, whatever the fuck that means, obviously she's a clown, but it will give credibility for a lot of people. It gives authority right away. I have a PhD. This is like, I don't give a fuck. And obviously, Alan, you've been on a rampage with, the whole PhD and Stepani and all those videos about people that claim and throw around a piece of paper. Anyone that has education, that actually went to school, you should understand, like, that's a piece of paper. You were taught by other people. Like, you were literally, you sat in a room and you were taught certain things. You had certain requirements. Now you can go on Google and you can educate yourself. And you can learn yourself, but the people that have the paperwork or the letters still hold credibility, and that makes their message even more dangerous when it's misaligned.
The issue with PhDs is this, though. You get to put doctor in front of your name, no matter what the fuck you can have a PhD in tiddlywinks, and you get to put doctor in front of your name.
That's only a 2-year PhD, by the way.
That's a 2-year PhD, yeah.
It's a good one. I like that class.
It used to be a master's.
But in reality, that's the truth. So a person can be like, I'm Dr. Jim, whatever the fuck his dumbass fucking 4% body fat name is. But
was it 20 pounds or 30 pounds in like 2 months or something? Or
20 to 30 pounds in like 8 weeks or something. Like fuck,
muscle mass.
fuck. And that's like when he was like, I did the one video on him where that dumbass motherfucker's like, I'm just going to hang around 4% body fat. Like, what the fuck, man?
Shut
like,
every
there's
fuck
a camera
up.
on you right now. Like
you know, we're looking at you, right? You know, we can.
40% body fat. I can see the striations in your fucking eyelids, motherfucker. It's so stupid. But PhD, like people will say that I'm a doctor this, doctor that, like fucking Lane Norton and shit like that. Like everybody's like, well, listen to Lane. He knows about fucking He knows about squatting. His PhD is in nutrition. His squat form's gonna fucking cripple him, and it has several times already. You know, I mean, like, one does not translate to the other. Like, it doesn't. And I appreciate the fact that they go through, like, there are PhDs in my family. So if you're watching, I appreciate the fact that you know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to your fucking subject. But when it comes to something you don't know what they're talking about, the doctors put that shit the fuck away. Yep. Yeah. A lot of medical when I train people in person, almost all my clients were medical doctors, like doctors and nurses, because they know that it's like first of all, it's like one of the most unhealthy fields to ever fucking be in. Almost every nurse has a blown out back because they have to move morbidly obese patients all the fucking time. And almost every doctor is the most deconditioned human being ever because they stand or sit in front of a computer and they eat almost every meal standing up in like hand food. It's like they live on burritos and taquitos and shit, you know?
I had a great situation when I first started training. I moved down to Florida and I had one of my first private clients. And this is my first foray into, because you're a doctor doesn't mean you know what you're talking about, or you have experience in all fields of health, which is that, I mean, who's knowledgeable in all fields? I mean, no one knows everything, but you assume, doctor, if there's anything with the body or health, or you're an expert on it. Right. And that's anything close to the truth. And I was training him and he was sweating like crazy. And we were doing stabilization stuff, and we're doing some, basic things, some walking lunges, maybe like some side shuffles. It was just like some small little gym in his condo, and, big time doctor, young and everything. And he was like out of breath and sweating. He goes, oh my God. He goes, I'm fucking out of breath. I'm sweating like crazy. He looked at me and he goes, why is that? And he looks at me and asks that question with a puzzled look on his face. And I was so dumbfounded. I forget I like blacked out. I forget what I responded with, but I was so shocked that he even asked that question. And it wasn't to see if I knew. He had no fucking idea why he was so out of breath. Mm-hmm. And that was my first little education on, okay, you know about those things. You know about shooting Botox into someone's forehead. You don't know about moving or walking or doing a fucking push-up.
Well, see, this is what I wanted to talk about. What I think one of the things that people don't realize is knowledge is incredibly powerful. Yeah. So the more knowledge you have, the better decisions you can make. And so when people have this faux knowledge, right? They have a PhD in something, or like I go to a 24-hour fitness, right? And I see personal trainers and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel bad for your client. And I'm not a personal trainer. I don't have any certification, right? But I've done so much research on YouTube and Google, not saying that I'm better than anybody else, but it's like I feel very confident in my knowledge. Does that mean I'm going to go up to people and be like, this is what you should do? No. But it's like you can get the knowledge without having the PhD, without having the personal training certification, without having all of that other stuff, right? And so that is my goal with my channel, is to give the knowledge to people. And recently I was like, someone messaged me, they said I was being fat phobic because it was actually a doctor that posted before and after, two different hearts. One was fatty, one wasn't, right? Talking about the difference between obesity is not just skin deep, fat goes all the way to your liver and all that stuff, right? And then so most people totally fine, they got where I was coming from. But then I got a DM, and normally I never respond. But this person, they were saying that I was saying that I hated myself, so that's why I changed. And I was like, that's not true. I've always said that I loved myself and I wanted to live longer is why I changed, right? Yeah. But then they kind of went on this whole thing of, okay, then why were you ever obese? Why were you obese? And you must have hated yourself. And I said, no, I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't know what I was doing.
Awesome point.
And so I didn't have the knowledge of the food I was eating. And there were, without a doubt, there are people that do hate themselves and the people that are 600-700 pounds that are just eating themselves to death. They don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority of Americans, and I would say of the world that are obese, are not at that level. They're not eating because they hate themselves. They're eating because that's all they know, right?
I can relate to that.
Exactly. So it's the
Yeah.
knowledge. That's why I get so passionate about this stuff. That's why I get so upset or, just annoyed when I see this ridiculous knowledge, right, in quotes that they're putting out there that this is the truth. I'm like, that's not the truth. That is going to hurt people in the end. So I try and put out the knowledge. Again, I always say I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that lost some weight that is trying to share what I know and point you in the right direction, right? Because that's how I learned, was just by reading things and watching videos. So it's that knowledge that people will see. They'll see that PhD. They'll see that she's a social worker, all that stuff. And they're like, well, what they're saying must be gospel because of that piece of paper they have, which is very dangerous. It's all about getting the knowledge for yourself, because then you can make decisions for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that.
Go ahead.
I see a lot of people using their studies or that piece of paper to justify what they're talking about, just like Sonali. We're talking a lot about her, but she definitely uses that piece of paper to, make people believe exactly what she's saying. But I've met a lot of individuals who are trainers who went through a lot of schooling, who are some of the worst trainers I've ever spoken to. And I've met some people, like Obese Beast over here, who didn't go to school for personal training, but he's pretty knowledgeable on common sense, first of all, and then, just working out and all the basic stuff. So a lot of people do use that piece of paper to just perpetuate their idea of what life should be like.
Yeah, and you have to also cross-check that with experience, because I have a degree in exercise science. However, 99% of what I've learned is the application, and what parts of that degree was bullshit, and not even just bullshit, just unnecessary or not applicable. And even when it comes to certifications, because I taught trainers to be certified, I educated them, I prepared them for their exams, so I know what they were taught or they needed to learn. And anyone that's gotten a personal certification watching or listening knows, okay, this is what you take. This is what, this is, NASM or NSCA or AFO, whatever it is. But there's a very small percentage of that that's actually applicable in the real world, because there's so many different aspects of training. But if you're on Instagram, you put that you're a CPT, you put these letters after your name, and then it gives that credibility. And if you have something like self-hate, like you were talking about, John, and then you spread that, and then that self-hate turns into, you know what, I'm perfect the way I am. It's like this kind of releasing of responsibility. And there's so many aspects of society where people do not want to take responsibility, where people do not want to accept that they have control. They're in the driver's seat. And a lot of people, again, you have people that don't want to be in control and don't want to have responsibility. And then other people that don't feel like or don't have the knowledge to understand that they do have control and they actually can make that change. And I loved what you said about knowledge. And that's what kind of like my approach is with elimination diet. Like, figure out what these foods, like, I don't care if I'm over that whole thing. Like, stop fucking cheating. That's just kind of get people's attention. It's like, if you want to eat a certain food, if you have an amazing physique and you're where you want to be and you want to have a slice of pizza, like, I'm not your fucking, I might be Papa Swole, I ain't your daddy. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's your life. But if you have the knowledge, okay, that pizza is going to give me the shits for 3 days. I'm going to have a migraine. That information is valuable. Don't you want that? That way you can make a decision whether or not you want to go down that rabbit hole. If you want to do it, it's on you. But if you have information, you can make decisions for your reasons, whatever those reasons are. And knowledge is everywhere. But what are your all thoughts on, because there's so much knowledge, you can't absorb everything.
I want to say that I agree that a lot of people from the body positive community, I don't think they have the knowledge, because when I was not into this stuff, I just didn't know. So I just thought I was going to be on the path as I'm going to have the same body as everybody else in my family. That's just kind of how it is. And that's what I grew up being told, that this is just how it is for your body and this is what we eat. I didn't have that knowledge telling me that I can change. So I think these people, some of them, I think a lot of them are in it for the money, like Tess Holiday. I think she knows that she can change. But I think some of them really do believe, like, oh, this is just how it is.
I feel bad for her, though, because she cannot change. She cannot change and still keep the same job.
Mm-hmm.
She will look dramatically different. And I made a quick quip about her on Instagram not too long ago. Like, she does the F, like I'm doing F your logic standards, which just is obviously a fucking jab at her. But the F your beauty standards thing, like the only beauty standard she has, like she wants you to F is size. Like and the fucked up thing is it's just body size, because face size, from what I understand, she's had that procedure done where like it helps remove a double chin, like that those injections that help remove a double chin, and she goes to a plastic surgeon and get like non-surgical refreshes decently often. So I mean, it's her audience is very gullible because they want to have a hero. They want to see somebody that looks like them, that they can go to. If she carried weight in her face the way that most people her size carried weight in her face, nobody would know her fucking name. Like nobody would know her fucking name at all. If she didn't have classic beauty when it comes to her facial features and her hair and stuff like that, nobody would fucking know who she is. Like,
well, she does every single beauty standard that everyone else wants. She's got the long hair. She's got a very symmetrical face. She wears all the clothes. She takes her photo shoots, her pretty pictures. I mean, she does every single thing that is the media standard of beauty, except she's obese.
Yeah, I mean.
So when you see someone that's not normally the beauty standard and have that one thing that's kind of different, then people are like, oh wow, she's amazing, when it really
and the word beauty, the word beauty is fundamentally subjective.
Super subjective.
What the hell is beauty? You could look at a rock or a sunset. Some people hate sunsets. Doesn't mean that sunsets aren't beautiful. Maybe 50% of people like this movie and 50% didn't. It's a subjective word, which gives that kind of play to have this type of, I mean, whatever, I guess, ideology you want attached to it, because of the fact that it's such a individualized concept.
Well, the stick is moved all the time. Like, I mean, like, because as the person, like, I do well in talking about this, but also at the same time, I take a lot of heat. Like, the bar gets moved all the time. Like, so I try to take away arguments. Like, as they approach, I try to make a video to take away the argument. Like, I recently have like, all right, you're pretty. Like, I mean, I'll be the first to say, Tess Holliday's got a very pretty face. I personally think so. Okay, you're pretty. Like, I don't find her body aesthetically pleasing to me, but plenty of people do, obviously, like, so it's hard for her to say, accept, body positivity, accept me for me, when she's got 2 million fucking followers of people that fucking talk about how awesome she is in her fucking comment section before she deletes all the negative comments constantly, so that argument falls short to me, like, I mean, so the other one lately is, she said, you have to worry about your mental health before you can be physically healthy. First of all, for her to say that, in my mind, is literally negligent. Like, she literally could kill somebody by that fucking stuff. I'm surprised nobody has held her accountable for that, because she is an influencer. I fucking hate that word. But she's an influencer, and she is telling people that before you can get physically healthy, you need to get mentally healthy. That somebody on the brink of death from eating themselves to death, trying to get themselves mentally healthy, cannot fucking happen. I mean, like, and I was as somebody that deals with food addicts daily, like mine and my wife's company deals with almost the majority morbidly obese people, getting them to health, trying to help them get to healthy weights. I can tell you this: you need to it needs to coincide. You need to get physically and mentally healthy together, because
as I reduced the amount of shitty food that I was eating, and the more active I was, the more mentally stable I was, and the more
absolutely
it just helped. I don't know how John was, but like, I am so much more positive, so much more mentally stable, than when I was eating just all my hot Cheetos and my cheesecake.
Well, eating crap food in general fucks with your hormones. It just does. And Dash talks a lot about that. You do a great fucking job. But also, like, first of all, it's very hard for a morbidly obese person to lose weight just in general, because in today's diet, especially with the normal American diet, it's very, very high in sugar, like 200 to 250 grams of sugar, at least in a day. So that releases a lot of insulin. The insulin actually blocks leptin. So even though a morbidly obese person's body, like, fat releases leptin, right? So the more fat you have, technically, the more leptin you release. So it's basically your body's way of regulating itself by saying, if you get too much fat, you're actually going to have less of an appetite, because, like, technically your body will try to get to a healthy homeostasis, right? So your body tries to reduce it by producing more leptin the more fat you have. But since we have such a high sugar diet, since we have such so much refined sugar in our diet, more insulin is released, and insulin blocks the effect of leptin to the brain. So therefore, leptin is what tells the brain normally that you're full, right? Like, don't eat anymore. So since we eat so much sugar, we block that shit. So a morbidly obese person eating a ton of sugar is always still going to feel hungry even when they're not. So they're just going to keep eating more and eat more. So it's almost against them biologically. So we actually employ a lot of what Dash talks about. We actually take, get rid of sugar, all the sugary shit in your diet. Don't drink your calories, because drinking your calories is almost always refined sugar, almost always, right? So don't drink your calories, do shit like that. But to get mentally healthy, you have to get physically healthy, because eating that much sugar in general just fucks with your hormones so fucking bad. And then when you don't work out, like, you're not getting dopamine released. Our bodies are used to running, jumping, doing shit like that. We evolved to do that shit, right? So when you just sit on your ass and you play fucking PlayStation, which I love PlayStation, don't get me wrong, but when you sit on your ass and you play PlayStation, I mean, there's no endorphin release, there's no dopamine release. I mean, it's just shit. There's shit that doesn't happen. So these people that talk about how you have to get mentally healthy before you get physically healthy, I'm really fucking shocked that somebody hasn't died and their family hasn't sued them. And if you are out there listening, by the way, and you have a family member that died recently of obesity complications, that is a huge fan of Tess Holliday, maybe you should hire a fucking lawyer.
I don't think I would have even gotten fit or lost weight if I worked on my mental health before I worked on my physical health. Mm-hmm. It would have never happened for me.
I think that it's a fairy tale kind of telling that people want to use. I think, and on top of that, it might be a little bit of just being lazy, but I think that what I've always said is that if you're going to try and lose the weight and then work on your mental health, I don't think that's the best way to go about it either, because a lot of people that have a lot of weight to lose think that losing weight is going to be a magic bullet that's going to solve all their issues. That's dangerous as well. And so what I think what people should do is, one, understand that losing weight will help a little bit, without a doubt, and probably a lot, to be honest. But it's not going to solve all the issues. So, right, if we want to talk about perfect world, work on them at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, you need to understand that, yeah, losing the weight, it's going to be, especially if you're morbidly obese, it's going to be a huge life gain, right, for you. You're going to make a lot of life gains because of losing the weight. But it's not going to solve every issue that you might have. So understand that as you're losing the weight. That's what I always tell people, because people will, I get messages all the time of people that are trying to lose weight, and they're just like, what's it like now that you've lost the weight? And they expect me to be like, life is rainbows, butterflies, unicorns, and, everything's great. It's like, no, life is definitely better. Like, people, they almost expect when I lost the weight, they're like, oh, do you get more attention from females? I'm like, well, yeah, but that doesn't, does that upset you? No, it doesn't upset me, because I understand I wasn't attracted to morbidly obese females even when I was morbidly obese. So it's like, I put in the work, and now
you're gonna get some hate mail for that shit.
Yeah,
for not being attracted to.
When
Michelle talked about that in her video today, didn't you?
When it was coming out of your mouth, John,
you're supposed to be attracted to other fat people, otherwise you're fat phobic.
Yeah, I actually did. I talked about that. It was a couple years ago in a Q&A that I did on my channel. People got upset about it, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, it's just, I literally never had a girlfriend until I was 21 years old, because the girls that were attracted to me, I wasn't attracted to them, so I was perpetually in the friend zone, because I'm trying to get with the hottest girl at school, and they're not trying to be with me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it was.
But I mean,
would it upset you when they weren't attracted to you because of your weight?
Oh yeah, I think that, I would be lying if I said, oh, no, that didn't upset me. Because it would frustrate me. Because I'm like, man, I'm way cooler than that dude. Like, just because he has muscles, he's getting the girl. When I'm way funnier, I can play drums.
You're pointing to me in the screen. Like, the supposed pointing.
Well, I was pointing at you because you're the guy. You have facial hair. I can't grow any facial hair. So, that's it. It's the victim mentality. That's where you live when you are morbidly obese. A lot of people. Morbidly obese, and you're not ready to make a change. You're living in a victim mentality. And that's where I think a lot of people that are in the fat acceptance community, that are in, health at every size, especially, because I think health at every size is like the fat acceptance, like on steroids, it seems like, from what I've seen. It's the victim mentality. And so that was the victim mentality for me. If I could just be skinny, or if I could just be fit, well, the reality was I just needed to put in years of work. But I did it, and now I'm reaping the rewards from that. So I think we should be like, yo, if you lose the weight, yeah, obviously your health is going to get better. All of these things are going to improve. But if you are somebody that, if you're a dude that's in your 20s and you feel like you're not having any luck with ladies, it would be a lie for me to sit here and say, it's not going to help that much because your personality might not change. Like, no, you're probably going to get more suitors because you're more attractive to them.
I like that.
Suitors.
It's like having more money. If you have more money, it's not going to solve all your problems. So if you lose all the weight and you're still mentally fucked, it's not going to answer all your issues. And Alan, you were talking about the quality of the foods, and you were talking about, like, I want to kind of shift this into a little bit more of like the quality versus quantity, because Alan, you actually mentioned, for example, Lane Norton earlier, and there's a lot of people on.
I hate even bringing up his name. Fuck.
Well, you cat's out of the bag, but. So you have people that are experts, PhDs, and they let you know at every single post. Those types of accounts that are only, and because like Michelle, you lost weight, John, obviously, Alan, you did. And actually we all did. I mean, to some extent, like I got too big. I was bulky. I had a lot of extra fat. I was like 225. Now I'm probably like 190, 195. So
you were in game, Thor.
Yeah. So I had to I realized.
People got so upset about that. Oh my God.
Well, it's fat acceptance dad bod.
He was my favorite part of the movie. I could not. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I made a whole video about it. Like I loved it.
Before that movie, they wanted a fat superhero, and then they gave him a fat superhero, and they had an issue with it.
It was so fucked up. Like you can't win. Like I mean, you literally.
Never. I don't. Yeah, you can't ever.
You cannot win. Like first of all, you want a fat superhero, okay? Like they call it a superhero body for a fucking reason. You know what I mean? Like. But
what are they really going to do if they're an obese superhero? They're going to do what obese people do. They can't do
technically, there's the Blob already. There's the Blob. There's Juggernaut. There's Kingpin. There's that's what pissed me off. Like, which ones do you want? Like, I mean, and then it's not body positivity enough. Daredevil's blind. Like, fucking, Mystique is blue. Fucking. Nightcrawler has a fucking tail and is ridiculed. Like the entire Marvel universe is based off of inclusion.
Oh yeah.
The whole fucking concept that Stanley came up from is based on inclusion. Like these people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They're trying to ruin my fucking childhood, but because they want to feel good about themselves. Like motherfuckers, shut up. You know, like there's gay. There's in one timeline, Colossus is gay. Like I mean, like it's very inclusionary.
They just like to complain, and that's what I feel like. They just want something to complain about.
I thought it was really cool because I thought that they did a really good job of showing, Thor, he's the god of thunder, like he is the man, right, the strongest Avenger. But then showing what a situation like that could, like, what depression could lead to, what all of those things could lead to. I thought it was really interesting. And then, of course, like, everyone just wanted to focus on the weight, which is understandable because it was such a funny part of the movie. But I could go on a tangent about this because that movie was amazing. I loved it. I watched it like 4 times in theaters.
It's embracing the dad bod, which is actually another interesting concept. Do you see anyone that is promoting fat acceptance as a man? I have not seen one. I don't know.
Holy fuck! The whole Jason Momoa thing was fucking crazy.
I'm ignorant to that, so you guys can go off on that. Get me up to speed. Get me up to speed.
They were talking to the guy that plays Aquaman. All of a sudden, had a dad bod. Like, first of all, if that's a dad, like he'd still like steal all your girlfriends, bitches.
Yeah.
like
he probably put on like 15 pounds. Like, it's not like, he wasn't huge in, like, I think you were saying in your video, I don't think that there were even that many people that were saying it. It was just a good story, right? Like, you could put him on the cover and then it looks like, oh my gosh.
Photoshop it a little bit, so, soften it.
You could have had a high sodium weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what people don't realize, that you train for a role. You diet down and you do these things so you look great on camera because camera adds X, Y, and Z. Now with CGI, you probably don't even have to get lean anymore, but that's what you do. And then after that, you go back to your normal life after filming for 2 or 3 months and you actually eat food and drink water and sleep a little bit. Your body comes back to a comfortable. It just proves more and more that these kinds of extreme idealistic body types are just not something that's maintainable, even for people with all the money, all the resources, all the reason to be super lean. They tend to be the ones that aren't lean all year round. So everyone that we're trying to emulate in the movies, like, that was for like the 2 weeks that they filmed. And I just don't see anything besides, I didn't even know about that, but you don't see this from dudes. Is that because guys have been, is this the patriarchy? Is this like what, like guys are not supposed to like,
it's way more acceptable to be overweight as a guy than a girl. Like,
yeah, the dad bod's almost like cherished. Like, oh, you have kids. Oh, you're a man providing for your family. You have a dad bod. I'm like,
in reality, society does view women's bodies almost always in a negative connotation. Like, I mean, just like, you know, I mean, it's just real. Like, I mean, like,
true.
You know, I mean, I have never once been like worried about like, even when I was fluffy, like fucking fat, because even when I was like what I would consider obese, I mean,
Portly.
I still like, well, I mean, I still like, I wore like a triple extra large shirt. I filled in a fucking doorway, but I was almost always the strongest dude in the gym. You know, like, unless I went to a powerlifting gym, like where real strong people worked out, not in my gym, but you know, but like, I never worried about it because like I still garnered respect when I walked in a fucking room. Like, I mean, way more than I do now. Like, because I'm built very different now. But when I walked into a room, if people were going to talk shit, they were going to do it very quietly. You know what I mean? Like, but like if you're you know, even like a woman can be too muscular, too lean, too this, too that. Like wear too much body makeup, Michelle. But like, I mean, like, you know, like stuff like that. Like women are almost always seen in like a negative connotation. Like their bodies are almost, and I think that's why the fat acceptance movement is majority women because they just want to be considered pretty, you know. And
without a doubt.
And I totally fucking get that.
You know, to that because I'm a woman, even though the body positive people like to say I'm a man. But when I was too fat, I was too fat, and when I got thin, I was too thin, and then now that I'm muscular, I'm too muscular. So there's always been some kind of negative association with my body that I do think that women get more than men. I mean, a muscular man is going to be a man. I think the only time that it's negative is when they're too thin, in my opinion.
Yeah, like if you call someone girly or feminine, but it's totally true though, because if you're a woman and you wear clothes that, you know, are revealing because you have a great body or, you know, it's perceived, and then you're a slut or you're a horse. I mean, that's definitely society, and that does play into, I'm sure, psychologically what you're raised with, what you're attracted to, because every different generation obviously is attracted to different things. We're all programmed, and it's just there's so many different layers of all this, and it comes kind of crosses back over and again to this type of dissociation between, again, the quality of foods and the quantity of the foods. So again, mentioning Lane and all these other accounts that are only really focus on, or that their front-facing message is about caloric restriction and restrict your calories, which of course the fat acceptance, positivity, all that stuff is like, well, dieting, that's anti-diets. And then you have anti-diet culture. If the pendulum goes one way, you have to go the other way. Otherwise, so there has to be these extremes, and it's always either one or the other. I don't think anyone here is denying the fact that energy exists. And if you eat too much energy, you're going to have too much energy in you, and then your body's going to store energy, and then you're going to gain weight. But at the same time, when you're eating foods that are designed in a lab, designed to get you to eat more. Again, Michelle, with the Oreos we're talking about, and you posted a nice little frame where it said like, it had like the bliss point and it had like the taste and the sweetness, and they put sodium in Oreos. Oreos don't taste salty to people, but they have a lot of sodium because in your brain and your body, it notices that translation. It gets confused, and it's like sweet, salt, and it wants both of those things. So it just craves more, and it creates that addiction. So it's hard to, I just don't like accounts that have huge followings that are well aware that there's more to it than just calorie counting, but they provide content that blatantly, in my view, puts that arm around people and says, it's okay, you can have that pizza, it's okay. And I'm, again, not saying it's wrong, but a lot of people are looking at your shit. A lot of people are reading that, and a lot of people are reading that should not be reading that. And it doesn't mean that you can't promote what you want to promote. I mean, it's your account. However, that responsibility comes back to, do you have any idea what message you're sending out? So even if it's all like for me, if I say fuck your cheat meals, it's not for the person that has their health and shit under control, and maybe once in a while has a beer or has, you know, again, like a cheeseburger. It's for the people that really need to hear it. And I think most people that have, you know, a couple grams of intelligence can separate and make the distinction for themselves. But these blanket statements really can cause more harm than good, especially when the majority of people, like Alan mentioned with all the statistics, are obese and are addicted to food. It's that denial that food addiction is real. Once an alcoholic, anyone will tell you, always you're an alcoholic, even if you haven't drank in 20 years.
Oh yeah,
You're an alcoholic.
And I guess if the conversation transitions over to the fitness industry, the fitness industry, like people that I don't even call them my peers. I fucking can't. I just can't because I'm a well-read guy. I'm not super fucking knowledgeable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever claim to be. I surround myself with people that are pretty fucking knowledgeable. And when I have a question, I'll reach out and ask any of you guys questions. I ask James questions all the time. I reach out to Jeff all the fucking time, because I want to make sure when I talk, I'm fucking correct. That's factual. It's backed. But the fitness industry is responsible for the fat acceptance community. Like the concept for a while there was, because bodybuilding ruled for a while. Bodybuilding was king for a decade or so. If you didn't have a six-pack, you weren't shit. Well, there's very, very few things, and a few of you have competed, so I mean no offense, but there's very few things less healthy than getting on a bodybuilding stage.
Absolutely.
Very, very few things less healthy
Absolutely.
than that. Like even for females, even almost we were talking about Stephanie Buttermore. Getting that lean as a female is very bad. Like it fucks up their female hormones. Some people never get their periods back, shit like that. It's very inherently unhealthy. So, and for the people that are watching, they already know I'm not a big fan of bodybuilding. I think it's amazing to have that type of dedication. But right now, if I put up the classic signs of anorexia, like the classic signs of anorexia, if I replaced, and I'm probably going to do an Instagram post about this tomorrow because I was already looking at it for today, but if I replaced weight with body fat, like how hyper aware they are of their body fat level versus weight, bodybuilders would almost all have the classic symptoms of anorexia, but it just relates to their body fat versus their weight. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's very inherently unhealthy, and it ruled for a while. So the concept, if you didn't have a six-pack, you weren't shit. Well, in reality, some people genetically can't even have a six-pack, just how their rectus abdominis is constructed. But two, some people, like, I can tell you this, last year I was at like 8% body fat for the Athlete X convention, and I fucking hated it. I fucking hate it. I could feel, like, I have the knowledge I have. I could feel myself developing a issue with food. Like I was totally fucking food focused. Like I was wanting my next fucking meal. That's all that was consuming me. I would catch myself like with food in my hand. Like at one point in time, like it's not fucking healthy. And it goes from that to the point where like, okay, well, here's now we've established that you aren't shit unless you have a fucking six-pack. And all you motherfuckers out there watching, fuck each and every one of you. But because some of these people are gonna fucking tune in. But they establish if you don't have a six-pack, you're not shit. So now you know what the thing that's in your way? Like that fucking dude from Superhuman you fucking piece of shit human being, where he's fucking saying the biggest problem with your workout is an underdose pre-workout. What the fuck, man? I mean, like you're selling it to people that don't know any better. Because I know, like, I can have coffee and that's my pre-workout. There are some mornings where I just wake up and want to fucking hit it. You know what I mean? I don't need shit. And if you're telling a newbie that the biggest problem they have is they don't have a fucking underdose. It's not even they don't have a pre-workout. They don't have your pre-workout. You're telling them that that's their fucking problem, and that's why they don't have a six-pack and shit like that. That's where that makes us all look bad. Like I'm just a fucking health coach, man. Like I don't like being called an influencer. I don't like being called a fucking fitness person. I'm a fucking health coach. I try to coach people from very unhealthy fucking states to healthy fucking weights. Do I sell some programs? Yes, because like I did the things that worked for me, and I put them on fucking paper, and I fucking sell them to people that want to fucking buy them. And I'm the first one to say that there's no magic program. If it motivates you, buy that shit. Because, I mean, if I motivate you and you want to fucking see what I did, that's the shit. But there's no magic program. If you don't want to spend the money, don't fucking spend the money. But in reality, our peers, quote unquote peers, are responsible for that shit. They monetize their fucking image, their fucking body. Vince from V-Shreds was the perfect fucking example. And I don't know if John, I don't know if you're familiar with the shit I did about him, but he is clearly an unknowledgeable motherfucker. Like clearly, like he's not even a good athlete. Like that's the thing. Like I mean, he's half my age, and he couldn't finish one of my workouts. He is clearly not knowledgeable at what he's talking about, and shows no fucking signs of trying to gain the knowledge. None. His recent thing is you can eat 2 extra large Kit Kats, a piece of pizza, and a Coke every night, and it fucking fits in as long as you take my 3 body type quiz, bullshit, motherfucking shit, you'll be okay. That is, it is. I wish they would. I wish that the fitness industry would get regulated. I do. I really wish we would get regulated more. I would gladly go through whatever steps I needed to do to make sure that I could pass the regulation, because I know I'd pass that shit because I'd study. But I wish we could, because there's so many fucking people out there selling so much bullshit that's where it's born from. When they talk about diet industry, it's a real fucking thing, unfortunately. It really is, because I don't do diets. I do lifestyle. You know, like I want people to change their lifestyle, develop good habits. These fuckers are just trying to be like, you know, like what is it, DeLauer? DeLauer's been in a 2-year period of time. He's been a foremost expert on the internet on intermittent fasting and on keto. Like, he actually pronounces himself as this. And since he's Thomas DeLauer, he looks good and he's got fucking millions of subscribers. People are like, oh, he must be the expert on this. What is it? I mean, I'm the foremost expert on being bald. I just announced it.
And the 1 meal a day thing. Every video is very similar. Every video is blowing research completely out of proportion, it's the embodiment of why you don't read blogs that reference scientific articles, because you take one thing from one article that no one's going to fucking read, and then you make a video or you make a blog about it, then someone reads that blog and makes a video about it. Then you get back to the root of that study and you realize, like, oh, that study didn't cover anything, or it was funded by some bullshit. And there's always like a loophole. And I think it's dangerous to demonize science, but it's also dangerous to just accept one study blindly, because most people don't understand how scientific studies are done. That one is just kind of like, oh, let's test the waters. Oh, there's something here. We test a hypothesis. Then we do another big group, and then we do another study, and then we do a longitudinal one. And most of these things, if you don't have freaking decades and decades of detailed, and how do you fucking track nutrition? How do you track 1,000 people, a good population size, for a long enough period of time with valuable enough, like, it's just mind blowing that people just look at a scientific study and then they run with it. And DeLauer is classically one of those people that does that. He'll take one study and then show some cool graphics, and then he swings his, 6-pack shortcut dick around, and then everyone subscribes and likes it. And then, download my golden milk. And this guy is drinking like freaking, I don't know what the hell he is, like goat cheese or something in a cup. Put some coriander in it, and it's going to make you lose weight because the fat's going to go in. Don't eat carbs and fat at the same fucking time. Get the hell fuck out of here.
Well, Stepani recently had one where, and it was hilarious, because like me and the people that I talk to all the time, like we read through the bullshit, right? He was talking about my research done in the gym. So your workouts, but since you're Dr. Jim Stepani and you call yourself a researcher, when you say your research, people think it's a fucking study. But my research done in the gym. So your workouts is what he's fucking saying. So that's like me saying, like, my research done in the gym means I should listen to this song. It's like it's so fucking stupid, It drives me absolutely crazy that some of these people have followings. Like, obviously some of them paid for them, but like Michelle, I had a question for Michelle. It's got to drive you nuts, because like we have, like, we're all have peers in the fitness industry, but like you have peers that are women in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
It has got to drive you absolutely fucking crazy.
It's funny because, I wanted to talk a few things about the competition, but when you said I do have friends in the fitness industry, or I put clothes fitness industry, but I lost quite a bit of friends that are trying to get a following, and they're doing very similar things that you guys are talking about. They've got the magic pills, they've got the magic workouts, and I talk about that stuff, so they kind of like distance themselves away from me, because they know I'm kind of looking at them like, what? It doesn't make any sense. But about competing, just so everyone puts it in perspective, I felt my absolute worst when I had a 6-pack, and I'm one of those people who aren't very genetically gifted in the ab section. Like, even though I'm fairly lean for a woman, but I'm just not someone that can get a 6-pack for some reason. Mine didn't come in until like a week or two before my competition, and I felt like shit. And I always thought when I competed, I would be surrounded by very healthy people. I'd be mentally healthy. And everybody's, just so confident. But I found that a lot of people in the fitness industry are not confident at all. They are so self-conscious about every little thing, because with bodybuilding, you're getting judged straight up on your body. You're going to get told, everyone says, oh, everybody's a winner. You're not. If you get in last place, you subconsciously know that your body sucked out of everybody else. And that puts, a lot of shit in your brain. And the one thing that happened with competing is it brought me back to binging. So I was good with binge without, I didn't have a binge, for a while. And everyone was saying I look so good, you should compete. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to compete. And that just really sparked. I mean, I think I binged more when I got fit than when I did when I was just not educated.
Restrictive binge eating is a thing, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's funny that you guys bring up the 10,000 calorie, what is it?
Challenges,
and whatnot, because
yeah.
I mean, that's so easy to do. That's so it's just so normal with a lot of the other competitors. I think a lot of them have binge eating disorder, and then they starve themselves pretty much. Like you said, it's very close to anorexia. A lot of my friends that compete, they just don't eat. They eat the bare minimum that they need so that they can sustain their muscle.
But it's accepted. It's accepted because it's bodybuilding. It's acceptable because I'm a fitness competitor. So I can binge and get shredded, and I can be a female down to 8%, and then all of a sudden go to a buffet, and they have those behind it, those big competitions. They have all these donuts and all these things, and that's where these people get a lot, and that's where a lot of these views come from. Because when you get really shredded, and I think everyone, including myself, has had that experience where you're in great shape and you go and you eat a lot, you don't lose it all in one day. You might feel like shit. You might feel like, oh my God. But if you have abs, you're going to have abs the next day. If you have biceps, you're not going to lose because you ate at a buffet. And it's very easy to go to, I guess, in California, In-N-Out Burger. You see all these guys, because so many influencer people are in California, and they get all these burgers and they're flexing, they look shredded. First off, they're usually taking sauce. They're not eating like that all the time. I mean, it's this whole illusion, and you don't know this unless you're in the industry. It's not something that you know from the outside. It's like if you're not an expert in a field, you're not going to know the details. You're not going to know the details of programming code unless you actually do code. You're not going to know those nuances. But when you're in the gym and you're training for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you know what it takes, you can spot this bullshit when it comes to fake naturals, when it comes to these types of pictures. And it's an Instagram picture. They could have taken that 5 months ago and be digging that up from the archive. They can doctor it. They can add shading. It could be after they just did a photo shoot and they were dieting hard for 2 weeks. And people do that all the time when they get injured. You see on YouTube, oh, someone broke their leg, and they're still posting on Instagram every day of them working out. Yeah, those are not new videos, bro. It's like, how is he lifting with a broken ankle? Oh, it's from 2 years ago. So there's all this kind of bullshit, and that goes all the way back to, circus acts and the physical aspects of it. But I mean, Michelle, you're dead on when it comes to that kind of mentality. It's just accepted. It's masked as, oh, I'm a fitness competitor. It's
also, because Alan, you were saying that when you were at the that convention and you were 8% body fat and you were just so very food obsessed. I did a competition a year ago, and I feel like I'm fairly mentally stable, but just doing that competition, I was very food obsessed, and I was just waiting for my next meal, just always thinking about food. I got not very insecure, but a lot more insecure than I am now, just because everything, the competition's about your body. Yeah. You're going to be, nitpicking at every tiny little thing, which
my wife hid the scale.
I feel like that's still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, my wife hid the scale for me. When I was losing weight, when I first lost the weight, I officially started at 245, and I said, I'm going to weigh between 180 and 185 pounds by such and such date. And I gave a date, because I was writing a book called Math and Willpower. So I just did the math, and I had to blah, 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 and work it through. Right. So, and towards the very end, the weight slows down so fucking much. At first I was crushing it 4 or 5 pounds a week, absolutely fucking killing it. More weight than I would allow my clients to lose in a week, because I was losing more than 2% of my body mass every week. And we really try to keep our clients under 2% of their body mass, because we want it to be sustained and logical and to give them percentage, right? So I was killing it, right? So it slows down, and all of a sudden the date's creeping the fuck up, and I'm like, fuck, am I going to make it? So I started weighing myself first thing in the morning, and then like I'd go work out, and then like I'd weigh myself when I got home, and I found myself water restricting and shit like that, like where I'm not even thinking about it, but the scale became so important to me that she just fucking hid it. Like she was, because my wife doesn't appear on camera a lot, but she's super knowledgeable. She actually runs our businesses. She runs the coaching. She's yoga instructor, Pilates, CPT, everything, And so she hid it from me. Like I just came home one day and I was like, "Where's the fucking scale?" She's like, "It's gone." She's like, "It's gone. We'll weigh you the day before." I was like, oh, "Okay," but it's just super fun. Like, and you were saying how insecure people are. I always equate this to this. You know how many people, like I've been in the fitness industry, back in the fitness industry, or in the public eye fitness industry for like less than 3 years. Do you know how many people I have shook? Like, I mean, like it shakes them when I fucking bring up their name. That shouldn't be. Like, if you're so fucking confident in yourself and your knowledge and your methods, anybody should be able to question you, and you'd be like, boom, 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 boom. Now I fuck with the trolls a lot, but if like another YouTuber came at me and was like, "I don't believe you know what you're talking about when it comes to this," first of all, if they proved that I didn't, I'd be like, "You're right. I thank you for enlightening me," and I've done that bunches of times before too. But these people can't be wrong. They need to be experts on everything. They need to know about keto. They need to know about this. They need to know about that. Like, most of these motherfuckers know how to lift a fucking weight. I mean, they really do. Like, almost every bodybuilder I know has a coach. They don't coach themselves. They have a fucking coach. And that's the person that they should be talking to. But the coach normally doesn't look like the actual person. So the person gets the notoriety. They have the pictures taken on stage. So then they fucking they launch a business. Like the fucking, it's the same thing with that Shelley Darlington girl I did a video on. Or I didn't even really do a video on her. She was the one that said calories in, calories out, don't calories in, calories out doesn't work. It's all your hormones. And my premise was it's your hormones make up calories out. Like if you don't understand that concept, you're too stupid to be fucking talking about it. And people get that was one of my least well received lately. I think it got like a 5% disapproval, but it's because she's fucking stupid and she parades herself like she wants to parade. She released a video how the rest of the fitness industry is dumb. Listen to her. Like it's like classic V-Shred shit. You know what I mean? Where she's like, everybody else is wrong. Listen to me, and I'm pretty. And like the very second like she actually said something about how all these women do is show pictures of their ass. The video the video before that is her video before that is like an underbooty video. Like and I got, if you want to make an underbooty video, make one. Dash, I'm sure yours will be great. But but what the fuck? I mean, like, it's what people do to try to they're basically trying to differentiate themselves because they're all mindless memes who are super fucking insecure. All of them.
Stay in your fucking lane. You said that before. Stay in your fucking lane.
It's actually stay in your motherfucking lane.
I think one of the highest levels of observable intelligence is when someone says that they don't know. When they know what they know and they know what they're not aware of. I will be the first to say, I don't know about your pregnancy. I don't know about your everyone here gets messages.
There's nothing wrong with that either, because I do the same thing.
I don't know about I don't know how to. I don't know about your specific situation with your pregnancy. Why the fuck are you asking me? I'm flattered, but go talk to your goddamn doctor. So people they want to be, it's one thing to be an authority figure, but be an authority about something that you know. Go by off your experience. Like John, if someone comes to you about weight loss, it's your experience. Like, you've been there. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'm curious as to actually going back to what we were talking about with the scales and stuff, like Alan was saying, like I don't know how you work with the scale, how often you measure yourself, because from experience, if I want to talk to someone or go into a resource, I want to talk to someone that's lost 150 or 200 pounds. Guess what you do? You go talk to someone who has lost 150 or 200 pounds and you get some fucking feedback. Talk to someone who knows. Don't talk to a fat personal trainer about losing weight. It's common sense.
What you were saying, it's good. It's good to find that person that's lost 150 pounds, 200 pounds, but don't take what they say as gospel, because I know there's things I've been wrong on and there's things I will continue to be wrong on. Just because I lost weight does not make me an expert. Do I think I can give people good advice? Absolutely. And I wouldn't be making videos if I didn't think I could do that. But it's important, just because it's like that Thomas DeLauer thing. Like, that dude's big. He seems pretty lean. I'm sure, like, if you were to see him on the street, you'd be like, oh, let me ask you nutrition advice. But I think a lot of us, we disagree with what he says, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for that. But I kind of wanted to go back about, like, the competing and stuff. So when I competed, I got down to 180 pounds. And so I'm at like 205. Okay. So that was the leanest I have ever been. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah. And I made a whole series on my YouTube channel. I showed a ton of people. It is one of, I don't want to say, because everything I've done has led me to the point where I am now. But man, I didn't realize the message I was putting out when I was making those videos. Because I was just trying to show, hey, if you're dedicated to something, like you were saying, Alan, if you're dedicated to something and you put the effort in, you can get it. And it was true. Like, I am very proud of how lean I was able to get. But at the same time, I got last place. I have loose, flappy folds. Like, I should not be competing, okay? Like, I'm not a bodybuilder, right? Like, let's be real here. So I think that competing for the vast majority of people is not a smart thing.
Oh, no.
But from experience, I think people that are trying to lose a lot of weight and they think, I'll do a show and that'll be how I stay motivated, that is unbelievably dangerous. Unbelievably dangerous.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
If you're morbidly obese, you have issues with food. And so all that's going to happen is that issue is going to get flipped. So for me, I struggled with binge eating for a while when I was losing my weight. And I was absolutely terrified when I was prepping for my show of what was going to happen when I was done competing. Because for me, I still believe in, like, macros and tracking and stuff like that. I think that it's a tool that you can use. If you understand what's inside of food, you know what to eat. And I think it's good for some people to even track for like 6 months just to understand what's inside.
Yeah, because they don't have any idea, right?
Exactly. But you can get addicted to it. And so that's how I felt. I was weighing, I was doing the exact same thing, weighing every ounce, every gram, which was kind of necessary to get as lean as I was. But I was weighing myself in the morning. I wasn't drinking any water. I was going to the gym in the morning, then seeing how much weight I lost at the gym. It's same exact thing, water restricting. I was so focused on that scale, right?
Yeah.
And so, I competed and I shared that with so many people. And, like, I really wish I didn't, because there's so many people that have probably tried to compete because they saw that and maybe have developed, like, real issues. Like, for me, I got very lucky that after I competed, I told myself, I'm not tracking. I'm not going to track. And for me, for some reason, I don't know, I can't tell people why, I was able to, I didn't gain a ton of weight. Like, I never gained a bunch of weight and then had to lose it after the show. I just kind of naturally gained a little bit of weight, and I've stayed here since. It's been like almost 3 years, or it's been 3 years since I competed, right? So, so going back to your question about, like, the scale, I think the scale is a great tool. I really do. And when people demonize it and say that you shouldn't weigh yourself or only weigh yourself once a month. Like, if you're only weighing yourself once a month, you're not able to use the tool as well as you can. But at the same time, if you find yourself weighing yourself 3 times, 4 times a day, then it's an issue and you need to kind of see what's going on there. But I think that people, like with anything, they like to use the scale and demonize it as this terrible thing, which it can become for some people. But for a good majority of people, I think that it can be a useful tool that you can see, where's my weight trending? Is it down or is it up,
Well, I mean, I know I have multiple clients that said that they would get upset with the scale because they would have to buy a special scale, like, because most scales only go up to like 350 pounds or something like that, So I can see it being an issue there, but, like, the concept that that in any way, any shape, form, somebody can get down to the point where your body fat is close to, like, especially for female bodybuilding, almost no woman on stage actually has a menstrual cycle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
When your body decides to shut down a biological process, you've fucked up someplace. Like, I mean, like, somewhere along the line, and we should not be propagating that as a positive thing by any stretch of imagination. Like, before I made the Stephanie Buttermore video, I actually sent her and Napard a message. And whenever we're going to try to make a more positive video, I send the person a message like, "Hey, heads up, you might want to duck." Because the people that hate me might come at you, or I'm not. Even though I say something positive, it may not be exactly what they like to hear. Because I did in the video say that I thought that the 9,000 calorie cheat days she has are irresponsible, and I'm never gonna be behind them because I think that's just fucking moronic. And she actually messaged me back and said, "Thank you. I see your point about those." And she like I found it pretty interesting for her that she actually addressed, like, she kind of came out and said, "I realize I've got a problem with with my appetite and blah blah blah." Like when I told her I personally believe, and it's really hard to test for, but I personally believe she's got some sort of leptin resistance. Like, I mean, like some people naturally have, like biologically have a leptin resistance, and she to only eat to 50% satiety her entire life, that sounds to me like, and I'm not going to diagnose her, but it sounds to me like there's some sort of issue there, you know. But yeah, stuff like that is like I think more females in the fitness world need to do stuff like that. Like I'm also like just to be to show a woman have 6-pack abs all year round. That's not realistic. I mean, by like at all. Like if they do have it all year round, if you have 6-pack abs all year round and you're a woman, you are either a genetic freak or you're using something. I mean, like all year round. I mean, all year round. Like even during your menstrual cycle. Like women can retain up to 5% of their body mass during their menstrual cycle, like just an extraneous fluid, so
that's just one of the issues with social media. Just because if you have, let's say you're a genetic freak, a lot of the biggest accounts are, I think we could all agree. I mean, of course there's hard work or there's nutrition and training, but not everyone, if you give everyone the same program or train hard, not everyone's going to look the same way. Not everyone has the capacity. So it's such a subjective thing. It's, again, the classic, nature versus nurture. Like, how much do genetics play a role? I think even the scientific community, everyone could be like, who fucking knows? From person to person, one person can maybe lose 200 pounds. One person might struggle like crazy. And that could be genetics. We haven't unlocked all those answers yet. So there's a lot of just up in the air. But if you are, and I saw one video, I forget who did it, but they were talking about the pro bodybuilders. Let's say Phil Heath, like the Mr. Olympia, the biggest of the big. Even if these guys didn't take steroids,
freaks.
And they trained hard, they would still be bigger, more proportionate than anyone. It just enhances what they're already doing. Phil Heath is already a genetic freak. You add in all that growth and all that stuff, and it just amplifies his dedication. You don't get that big just because you inject something. You have to use it appropriately. It's
well, look at like Ronnie Coleman. Like Ronnie Coleman
right.
competed in powerlifting before he ever in tested powerlifting before he ever started bodybuilding, and he was just fucking like, of course he could beat the test, and I know people are going to say that, but he's obviously a genetic freak.
Yep.
Just a genetic freak. He's almost an example, a very bad example, because like he's really paying the price right now, and he can't put it down, so he's going to continue to pay the price. But
also the hyper responders. Not everyone that takes it. I mean, you have that combination of genetic freak. You have that hyper responder reaction to these artificial or these exogenous hormones, and it just perpetuates. But then because you have a great physique, all of a sudden you get all these sponsorships. All right, you get to be featured, Alan, on Gymshark Train. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I made a video on that guy before, on that Devin guy, and he was doing these stupid circuits with a weight vest and dropping 10 feet from a rope. And you have all these people that might be able to get away with those things. And of course, who doesn't want to look at something that's crazy, right? Who doesn't want to watch someone go down this 90-degree angle on a GoPro? And you're like, holy shit. I watch those. I find myself watching these like BMX, like super street where they're going through like in Brazil, and like, how's this guy not dying? And you get like the head cam things. And I watch like these ridiculous things, but you watch that, and then all of a sudden people try to emulate it. And I guess that's the risk with anything, but those accounts, let's go back to fitness, those accounts grow and those accounts expand, and they become those, verified accounts and things like that people listen to. And that's a beacon for fitness. And it's like, well, they have a following, but there's that it overshadows the fact that they're giving garbage information. And I don't know how this changes. I don't know how this develops in terms of regulation. Like if it's a licensing, if it's that kind of like you have to pass a bar, it has to come from a federal level. I just think there's so many issues. I don't know how this is going to resolve.
There's too much money involved in that. That will never happen.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's why. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I try to have like pepper in a fair mix of the fat acceptance movement is fucking stupid, and look at this dumbass motherfucker doing this exercise that's going to kill somebody. Like, I mean, people always talk about, like, I got to go hardcore at the gym and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, my workouts are pretty fucking intense. Like, there's often times where, like, I take the headphones off and I'm like, holy shit, the rest of the world actually still exists. You know what I mean? Like, I can get that deep into it. And I love that shit. I really, really do. But you know what's really, really hardcore? I've been working out for 30 fucking years. You know what I mean? Like that, like to me, the consistency, like, you know who's the most hardcore person in an LA Fitness? That 95-year-old lady that's been swimming laps for like the last fucking 30 years, every fucking day. Like, she's hardcore. Your punk ass who took like fucking 500 milligrams of caffeine to come in and scream and yell and drop a bunch of weights and you're not going to be here next month. You're not hardcore. You're just fucking stupid. Hardcore is consistency over time, dedication. That's hardcore. You know, when people do this ridiculous bullshit of like, let me find, like, I hate trainers that pull out the fucking Boza ball. Like, I fucking can't stand them. Because 9 times out of 10, when you walk into a gym, most people that get personal training in a gym, almost 90% of the time, need to lose a little bit of fucking weight. They're deconditioned. They don't know, they need some fucking help. They get somebody who just gets a CPT. Most CPTs don't actually know how to train a morbidly obese person or an obese person. So they have them doing all sorts of shit that's going to hurt them. And the first thing they fucking do, for some reason, the person can't even do a bodyweight squat themselves right now. It's a fucking full fruition. And they put them on a fucking Bozu ball every fucking time. It's like, it drives me absolutely insane. Like, I've almost gotten kicked out of gyms before. Like, I'm like, don't do that.
That's one of the problems, because you, and I'm sure, I mean, both the Michelle and John, you can weigh in on this too. When you see people that are using these gadgets, and the reason why, and this is just my observation, why all these gadgets are getting more and more, it gets views, it gets attention. It seems stimulating because it's different. Oh, what's this strap? Oh, let me attach this here. Oh, it does this monkey exercise. And I just hammer on this podcast that the basics fucking work. Why can't you just do the basics? You know, follow the grandma that's running laps around you in the yoga studio, that's doing shit that you couldn't even dream of doing. Like, There's a reason why the basic fundamentals on repeat, thus why they're called reps, because you do it over and over again. You don't do random shit that you see on Instagram and random exercise. I know, John, you do you do mixed training. I'm not an expert on what you do, but CrossFit and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people harp on CrossFit. I do it too, but I mean, everything has its application. It's a tool in your toolbox. And if you have the wrong person doing a bench press, it's going to fuck them up the same as any other type of exercise. So, I mean, when you come at it from a professional standpoint, it doesn't really matter what the exercise is. If that tool fits, if that tool fits the socket, if it fits the job, that's what you use. But the basics work. That's why they're called the basics, and people forget that.
I think it's funny that you said the CrossFit, because my first video that I ever saw of you was your CrossFit video, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Ironically, it's gotten the most dislikes of like any video I've ever made. And that was like one of the first ones I started doing on this kind of like rage series since like the last year. But yeah, I
think that with anything like you were saying, there are some terrible examples in CrossFit of form, without a doubt. But like you were saying, I go to the 24-hour fitness and I see terrible form as well. And a lot of time the people will be with personal trainers, right? So, but yeah, I do like to do like the mixed style of training. And a lot of people actually message me right now and they say, how come you never share your bodybuilding stuff? Like, you used to share. I'm like, because it's the same workouts I've done for 5 years. Like, nothing's changed. So like for me, it's like, I don't want to film it. It's boring for me to film. It's just, you've seen it a million times. Like, you should do a chest workout video. You should do a back workout video.
I feel like that's why all of you, no one, and I try to dabble in it once in a while. I know Alan, Michelle, everyone has like a couple videos, but it's actually a really interesting observation that none of us really post a lot of training videos. Maybe some in like the past, or once in a while you show a picture in the gym, or like your gym selfie or some shit. But it's not like fitness content. I mean, because like you said, it's the same thing over and over again. So how many times do you need to see me squat? How many times do you need to see me deadlift? Like how, and that's why those accounts post those circus act type things, because people are obviously going to get bored with squats and deadlifts, so they have to keep pulling out this crazy shit that will keep people amused.
Well, for me, like what I really started morphing my content a couple years ago, because I mean, there's plenty of video of me squatting heavy weight, like when I was fat and stuff like that on my channel, like just way back. So if you want to see that shit, go watch those videos, motherfuckers, because they have like almost no views. But first of all, like, I was squatting like close to 600 pounds, but like that's nothing. Like there's tons of guys that do way fucking more, you know. Like, and for my age bracket, like yeah, I mean for my age bracket, I was one of the stronger guys in the country for my age and weight, no doubt. But that's so fucking what a ribbon or really that'd be great, a ribbon, you know, like I get to win a ribbon, like my you know, I speak facts and knowledge. That's the important shit. You know what I mean? Like to me, I rarely post anything. Like last year when the whole Chris Heria bullshit was coming about, like where he like, I posted a video about him where he was talking about spot fat reduction. I said that's a shame. He's a talented athlete, but he obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And he like posted a comment, called me an old fat bald salty clout chaser. And like I was like, you know, that doesn't change. Even if so, it doesn't change that you're an idiot. And I would, you know, he posted some other stuff, and his fans started coming at me. You probably can't do this. You probably can't do that. Like when I was in high school, I was a gymnast, and I was a championship pole vaulter. You know, like so, and I train plyo all the time. All sorts of shit. Like I train explosive movements, jumping, everything like that. So the last thing I posted was like the box jump things. I posted a couple videos about that. And the reason why I don't do that shit is because all of a sudden people started fucking posting all sorts of crazy fucking box jumps and sending them to me like, you're going to fucking hurt yourself because I did this shit. This is why I don't post my fucking workouts. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to be responsible for, it's like the rule of thumb. You're speaking to the dumbest motherfucker that's going to watch your videos. Because like, if you say, like, it's what we were talking about the diet. If you say, you know, eat 2,000 calories, you lose weight at X amount of rate, blah, 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 because this or the other thing, they'll eat 1,000 because they want to lose weight faster and they'll starve themselves to death. So I think there's enough, like, there's enough tutorial videos. Like I'm good friends with Jeff from Athlete X. So why the fuck am I going to make videos you know, when he's going to make them, you know, shit like that. I mean, and I just find it, I don't find it to be productive, especially in the environment that, you know, most of us, you know, talk about. We talk about generalized health, wellness, and well-being when those are actually like fitness industry shit. Like where I like, you know, I mean,
well, and it goes back to kind of what you were saying. It's about, like, for me, it's staying in my lane. Like for me, I am not a professional bodybuilder. I don't have a huge bench or squat or deadlift. So it's like, why would you watch my videos when there's hundreds of videos, thousands of videos that are much better, and people have much more knowledge about it? Like, I like sharing my experience. Like recently I ran a marathon, right? So I made a couple videos about that. I vlogged the marathon that I ran, but I wasn't sitting there being like, all right, guys, so if you want to run a marathon, this is what you need to do. No, it was like, yo, this sucked, and I was terrible, and that was hard. You know, that's it. I'm not going to sit there, and now I've done a marathon, so I'm an expert. I'm going to release a marathon training program. If you want to buy it, it'll be $9.95. Like, no, it's just not. And then the same thing, like, CrossFit is my main source of exercise, right? That's what I enjoy doing the most. But I don't sit there and post like videos and say, okay, so if you want to do toes to bar, this is what you need. It's like I stay in my lane. I like to share things when, you know, I'm working on handstand walks and I'm finally getting it. Like, it's fun to show that. But I'm not sitting there being like, okay, so now if you want to do handstand walks, this is what you need. That's why when people ask me questions, I'm like, watch this video, that video, this video. I'm not the person that should be giving you that information. That's negligent on my part.
But that's where a lot of people cross that line. They actually, once you start, there's a very different skill between having that information and being aware of how that works yourself, and then actually translating that to other people, applying those tools to a client, applying those tools to a member. And that there's a huge difference there. Just because someone has a six-pack or big arms or big legs or they squat doesn't mean they know how to cue a squat, especially remotely. And when you're doing something, and I know, Alan, you've made videos on, you know, Instagram trainers that are providing they're showing an exercise. They're not providing any kind of coaching or cueing or any kind of adjustments. And it's hard to cover all those and dot those I's and dot those T's, which is probably why you shouldn't be doing it, which is probably why you shouldn't be posting it. And
then don't do it.
And right, especially when they're posting it in the guise of like, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, follow this, buy my programs. If you're just posting on a personal account and you're like John, you're sharing it, that's one thing. You're sharing what you're doing. You're not saying this is how you do it here, go buy my program. But when you have, like, I have programs, I have a membership, Alan, you have programs, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, once you go down that road and you have services, I think your intent and what you're putting on a public forum takes a different weight, because if you're demonstrating something, you are putting out there like, oh, here is a fraction or here is a degree of the services that I provide and my education. And there's a different responsibility when you have services on that same vein. And that's an opinion, of course, but you know.
Yeah, it's actually funny because since Alan's been talking about it, it's made me kind of reflect more on my content, like the stuff that I put on Instagram, because I'll post more like workout videos on Instagram than I ever would on YouTube. And it's made me like, okay, maybe I don't need to post every single whatever it is that I'm doing. Just because for me, I've always, almost to my detriment, I've always been very aware of my following. And understanding who it is that's following me. So I never want to post something that's going to put someone in a bad position. Right. And so like with the training stuff, I do like to share stuff, but I've tried to be like more, you know, this is what I'm doing. I'm not saying you should be doing this. This is my thing. And then it goes full circle with me. I recently just released a full day of eating, and it's the first one I've done in a really long time, right? Because for me, one, my meals are very boring. They don't change very much. But two, I am not eating to lose weight. So I eat about 3,000, 3,500 calories a day right now. And I understand that the people that are watching aren't going to be eating that much. So I don't like to share that. And like, say I do have a treat. Like me and my girlfriend, we like to go out and eat every once in a while. You know, we like to get frozen yogurt and stuff. I almost never post those pictures. Not because I feel like I can't or I'm not allowed to, but it's because I respect my following and I understand. Again, talking to the lowest common denominator, they're going to see that and think, oh, well, if John can eat frozen yogurt, I can eat frozen yogurt. No, this is like a treat that I don't want to say I worked for it because I hate that concept, but like
you rewarded yourself though.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for me, I've always been very aware of that. And so, but again, I've even went too far to where I would film full day of eatings, but then not be honest about how much food I was eating, maybe cut out a dinner or something like that because I felt bad.
No, and so out of all of us, you're the most like you have the most following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that drive you crazy a little bit?
It's terrifying.
Because like the call for them that like I'm getting like calls for like people like you got to do a full like a day in the life video. Like first of all, I try real hard not to talk about like me on my channel because it's not about my channel's not about me. My channel, you know, I try really 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 hard. But like a full day of like it's me like typing on a computer and fucking asking my wife where my phone's at.
Yeah,
you know, like that's my day.
So for me, this is kind of getting into the weeds of my stuff, which I'm not sure if anyone really wants to hear that. But like, I come from, I guess you could call it like the old guard of YouTube fitness. So when I started making videos, it was all about vlogging. It was all about sharing what you were doing. So that's what I did, right? When I first started my channel, like the way that my channel blew up was when I shared a loose skin video, right? That's how I ended up going on Ellen. That's how all that stuff happened.
She bought you a car, didn't she?
Yeah, she got me a car. It's right outside right now.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was one of the best days of my life, right? Like, I still can't believe that I get to drive that thing around. But that's what my initial, I hate calling people fans, like supporters, that's what they saw. That's what they wanted to see was my life. So I tried to share that. But now my content has shifted to where I don't really want to share my life. It's ruined relationships for me. Like, my past 2 relationships have been ruined because of that. I'm almost certain. Right? So I'm done with doing that as much. There's always going to be some sort of that version because I do kind of enjoy it a little bit, but I don't want my content to be about that. But it is like, I remember when the video first went viral and everything changed, like it was terrifying because I felt like the content I was making wasn't good enough anymore for the amount of people that were following me.
Right.
And so I've just had to realize that, like, one, I don't really care about how many people are following because it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, right? It matters how many people are actually watching the videos. Yeah. And so that's why I enjoy making the videos that I'm making now because, one, I'm able to be myself. And while it is scary, like, sharing these opinions that I'm not sure what people will think about it, I'm able to start this dialogue with this group of people that, for the most part, have been pretty positive. And it's been amazing. But it is scary, man. Like, I respect the amount of people I'm talking to, and so I'm always walking this fine line of wanting to say what I think, but at the same time not trying to hurt anyone.
Not just just say it.
No, well, not their feelings, not their feelings.
That's my motto.
Say the word you want. I know you want to say a naughty word. I know you do.
But it's like,
he's hyperventilating.
I want that sound clip, bro. I want it. I'm kidding.
Well, it's like, no, I'm always trying to walk the line of not trying to hurt, not hurt their feelings. I could, whatever, that's fine. Everyone's feelings are hurt by everything now, but it's like literally hurt them, right? Like they end up eating too many calories because they saw my full day of eating. So I always put those disclaimers like, this is what I eat you don't need to eat this much. And matter of fact, you probably shouldn't be eating this much. So it's about walking that fine line. I'm sure everyone has a version of that, right? As your channel grew,
For sure.
as much as you guys don't care about what people say, everyone kind of you
You have to be aware of it. You have to be aware of it. And I'm very
cycle back to what you guys were saying with the sharing your workouts and whatnot. I think people don't take into consideration how long we've been working out, first of all, or how long that person's been doing that, you know. And same with the food. Like my thing is hot Cheetos. So when I get a bag of hot Cheetos, I am ecstatic. I want to share it with everybody. But then when I post it, people are like, how do you get that body by eating, you know, your hot Cheetos? It's like I eat hot Cheetos once or twice a year, but people don't take in consideration that I do it once or twice a year. They think I do it all the time because of that one time I share a picture, and they don't mentally think that it's just a one-time thing.
Well, Michelle, you shared a lot of stuff, like you've shared a lot of personal stuff on your channel, and we were talking last time, like before you started kind of, I mean, it's very easy to see like John, you were saying how your channel kind of, you know, everyone was vlogging then. So that's just what people did. So it's very easy for the content, us all being creators on YouTube and other platforms, it's very easy for the content to kind of just become one of the pack. So there's other ways. I mean, of course, there's what people respond to. You have to kind of go after the likes and the attention. Otherwise, that's why else you're making videos. But Michelle, you used to do personal stuff too. I personally don't talk about what I eat because I want people to find the fucking foods that are best for them. And it's so hard because everyone wants to, what do you eat? This is what I eat. But I mean, you might be allergic to 90%. So like, go eat that and die. It's like, that's not what I want to do. But like, where did you kind of like draw that line between like sharing, Michelle, like your personal versus like what you do now? Because again, a lot of us talk on the same issues and we've had our own little journeys and transition. And where do you draw the line between what gets views and the message and your personal? Because you just posted a workout that everyone was clamoring for. Like when you get 100K and you're probably like, I hit 100K, but then I gotta post a fucking workout now. Like that.
You know, like I was really excited for the 100K and the workout. I think I didn't want to really make it instructional either because like, there's all those guys that are way more knowledgeable than I am who can say it so much better than I can. So I told my followers, like, this is the way that I work out. And there is no way in hell if you're just starting out, this is what you want to do. Like, you don't want to do this at all. And I try to make it as real as possible to show them that I fail all the time during my workouts. I stop all the time. I curse. Sometimes I have good sets. Sometimes I have really horrible sets. So I think from looking at the comments, I think they appreciated that I just did like a full-on straight run through, no pretty hair, no prettiness, no, you know, editing or anything. So I like showing people what I do, but at the same time, then I get those messages saying, how much weight do you do? So they can do, like, how are you going to deadlift what I deadlift now when I've been deadlifting since I was 18? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you're going to get there within a couple months.
What's your max? Like, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I say that all, like people ask me that all the time. Like, what's your max? What's your max in this? What's your max in that? I don't fucking know. Like,
I go until my failure. I go what's good for that day. I also want to talk about booty because booty is such a big thing for girls, and they think they can grow a butt. And I get a lot of messages that talk about like, what exercises do you do to get your body shape? But I don't think they also don't take into consideration genetics because I've always had a big lower body, and I've always. Whenever I lift weights, it just seems it's easy for me to grow. And I don't think people understand that for a lot of people, it's hard for them to grow a glute. So when I see a lot of these girls posting these, 1 month workout programs, going to get you this butt 4 weeks.
What do you say to someone? Because what do you say to that? Because obviously it's kind of bullshit because you have a lot of experience and you have a lot of this. And I think probably just to throw out one name, like Gymshark, one of those companies that kind of grew off teenage vloggers, you have this idea that, okay, these kids that are taking anabolics, that are taking SARMs, that are taking many more things aside from just test, which people think is like the steroid for some reason, like testosterone, as if that's the only fucking steroid that exists. There's hundreds. So what's your personal take being the only female on this panel and the booty workouts? Because like, just kind of go a little bit deeper on that, because everyone's got a booty program, and it can be very genetic, especially you get the right lighting, you get the right selfie, the right back arch.
Well, it's funny you brought the Gymshark thing up because I got sent 2 pairs of Gymshark things and they're my least favorite. Like I can see why girls like them. They're my least favorite. But I was working out the other day and looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, they definitely changed the shape of everything. So if it does that to me, imagine what it does to the girls who don't really have a shape and they're able to now, like, you know, mimic what they don't have. But I usually tell, like, I'm very upfront with my people that purchase my workout programs, because I do have a booty workout, but it's really just a leg workout with some things that will isolate the glutes. People just want to get at least 2 glute workouts in there for some reason, and then they think it's a glute workout. But I tell them it's going to take them a long time to see some lift and some muscle. It takes years. I just posted a girl who came from nothing. It took her 4 years to get a stage body. You know, not 12 weeks. It takes years of heavy lifting.
Yeah. People don't get that at all.
They don't understand that. They think, you know, I showed my before and after pictures, but I've always had a big butt. Like, it's hard for it to go. It doesn't leave. It stays forever. It'll stay forever with me. I am able to, like, I can eat. I have no problem. Putting on muscle is the easiest thing for me. Taking off muscle is very hard. Like, for some reason I got into long distance, and I was running like 10 miles a day, and my butt was still there.
Fuck that shit. God, man. 10 miles a day. Fuck that.
But Michelle, it's easy for you to say. It's easy for you to say because you have a body.
That's what they always say.
So John, you said you're from the YouTube old guard.
Yeah.
Were you in the YouTube house? Like, they did like a YouTube house, a bunch of them like all stayed together. Were you a part of that?
Oh yeah, like 4 times.
What the fuck? How dysfunctional was that?
When was that?
So this was a few years ago. YouTube House makes it sound like it was a bigger deal. It was literally just we all pitched in on Airbnb, and we hung out.
How dysfunctional was that though? Like a bunch of fucking
dude.
It's like the real world.
Oh man.
First of all, wasn't Chelsea Lifts on there too?
Yeah.
How crazy is she? Was she crazy then? Because she's crazy now. Like,
she's really nice. I think she's gone through a lot, man. Like, personally.
Yeah.
But.
And I'm sure she has. I'm not trying to make fun of her, but that's a perfect example of somebody should take her camera away.
Yeah.
Like when they start having problems, like all of you guys have my permission. Like when I start getting senile in like 2 years, I just turned 48. I just turned 48 yesterday. But take my camera away, because like it's not like that's what I always find, like the YouTube old guard. Like I almost forgot that you were like with them, because like most of them have lost their fucking minds by now. Like I mean, like it's weird. Like they keep chasing the fame. I think Meg Squats has done a good job of transcending a little bit. Yeah. Like she's done a good job of marketing herself.
You try vlogging every day and try uploading every day. I've tried the daily thing for a little bit. Holy shit! Like you can't get anything else done.
Like it's one thing, like you do the podcast every day, which I think is unbelievable, but like it's one thing to be able to be like separate it, right? But when you're trying to vlog every day and show your life, like one, you're getting so many people that are commenting on every single thing you do. So it really does like take a toll. I mean, it's tough, man. Like it's not even like I made this plan of, okay, well, the old YouTube stuff isn't working anymore, so I'm going to try this commentary stuff. Like, it just kind of happened. Like, I got a comment on my video that I put up today, someone saying, like, oh, remember when John used to put up fitness videos and blah, 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 that was such a good time. And I wanted to comment, but I almost never reply to comments really on YouTube anymore. It's just not worth it. But I almost wanted to say, well, like, yeah, change is kind of good. Like, we need to change. And, like, for me, if I would have tried to continue doing that, it would have been, I mean, I would be crazy right now, because it's like you're trying to come up with videos, you're trying to come up with thumbnails, you're trying to come up with titles. All you did was go to the gym. So how do I make this video any different than the other 15,000 videos I've made?
All the titles are what I do for my 6-pack. Like, first of all, you have 10 videos like that. Yep. But secondly, you're just some fucking dude like that. I find like I don't go to expos at all. Like,
me neither. I stopped recently.
I can't, because like
they are the funnest things, because they're pretty just bland.
Well, I there's a reason why, and people don't know this. I'm just announcing this right now. I may go to the Arnold this year to support one of my friends. A good friend of mine, Casey Mitchell, is going to have a booth there, and I may show up for a day just because he's a good friend of mine. But besides that, I don't go to them, and I get invited to every single one of them because I don't want anybody to stand in line to shake my fucking hand, because I'm nobody that should ever have people stand in line to shake their fucking hand. Like, I mean, like I'm literally some dude that started yelling in a car, you know. But I mean, I think the problem is most of the folk from the old guard. I think the reason why you still have a good audience and why you still garner respect and all like that. I think that the people that are still around from the old guard all bought their own fucking hype. They all bought into it. Like YouTube was paying a shit ton of money for views. There was very few of them, so views were fucking phenomenal. So the money was just fucking flowing and shit like that. And they all of a sudden bought into they're special and shit like that. And we just lift fucking unless like we lift weights, you know. Like I think that the four of us try to put out a message and try to counterbalance some social issues that are going on. And I think that's very important work. But we're still like, I don't need like somebody else could say what I say, you know. I mean, like, you know, it's just factual shit. Like, I'm nobody that important, and I think that that's why the YouTube old guard has fallen on their fucking faces, and most of them are considered kind of like jokes now. Is that because they really all like thought like they were like super. Like, I remember when I was first starting, I went to a couple of charity events, and a bunch of the YouTube old guard were there, and like they would like stand and like wait for me to come. Like a couple of them were like staring at me, and I asked my one friend, I was like, why is that dude staring at me? He's like, he's waiting for you to go over and introduce himself. I'm like, he's gonna be waiting a long fucking time, you know, like. Because they just all of a sudden they thought they were like fucking royalty or something like that, and I just found that so like that's actually a problem in fitness. That's why we're at where we're at, where it's like people don't trust these people because they all bought into their hype so fucking much. So the way you present yourself, and it's a compliment, I almost forgot you did, you know, like that you were with like in the old guard, quote unquote, because
yeah, it's crazy that, like, to me it's crazy that I'm even sitting here because one. I was like, your videos, Alan, I was terrified of you at first. Because I was like, I would see you yelling in your car about fitness people, and like in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm one of those people, so eventually he's gonna come after me. But it's funny because I think that's probably how a lot of people feel, is they don't understand that like they could, like, if they actually shared what they think, and I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people from the old guard or whatever feel the same way we feel about these issues, but they're too afraid to say anything or too afraid to change their content up to share that, because it is a complete shift, right? Like the videos I'm making now, like one of the biggest like people that like are mad about my content now, they're like, oh, it's just like a podcast style stuff. I'm like, well, it's just different. Like, so people are probably afraid. They're afraid to do that. But like, yeah, like I was afraid. If my impression was that first CrossFit video I saw, and I never wanted to be like, okay, well, let's watch more stuff, right? And then like the stuff that I was seeing a lot of when I first started watching a lot of your videos was like with the Brittany Dawn stuff, right? Because I was like, that stuff, I wish I was making videos like this when that was going on, because I had so many thoughts, but I stayed away.
God,
but
she was horrible.
It's unbelievable, and I know that it was terrible that it happened, but at the same time it was really good that it happened, because it was able to open a door, and a lot of you guys were able to make those videos saying like, yo, this isn't just her, this is a lot of people. And I remember when like I was friends with some people that were completely faking their online training, right? They weren't even doing it. They would pay other people to do their online training for them, because think, if you have 500,000 subscribers and you have 5,000 clients, the numbers don't make sense, right?
5,000 clients.
Like you just can't do that, right? And so there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is my coaching collective, right? Like you have other people that work under me. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't say that, everyone thinks they're working with, you know, the God that they're putting on this pedestal, and that's just wrong.
Yeah.
That's why we're always really clear to say, my wife, myself, and our team. Like, we're still connected to every client. But like I think right now, I don't even know the number. But we plan on, like, obesity is a big problem. We plan on providing affordable coaching, including food addiction coaching, which we're about to add. We're about to add food addiction coaching to the service, like certified food addiction coaches to the service, because it's a necessity, and we're not going to increase the price when that happens. We're just going to like keep the price the way it is. We're just going to add the service, right? We have to have more coaches, because there's like, we would have so many people on a waiting list that need help right now, you know? But when people are like, well, like I think Brittany Dawn had 5,000 fucking people she said she was giving customized plans to. Shut the whole fuck. Like, first of all, the only thing I got to say to the Brittany Dawn people that got scammed,
well, they didn't do their research when they were
I mean, like, come on, like
it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's she didn't provide a service and she fucked up for a long time. If you're buying a fitness plan from Brittany Dawn,
We'll just show
buy a
how
plan
much,
from someone that takes care of themselves. That's all I'm going
Well,
to say
it
about
just
that
shows
right
how
now.
much research people don't do. They just want to believe that, a pretty girl and she's skinny and she's gonna take me to where she is,
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with fat acceptance. I mean, they want to see somebody relatable, and a lot of times women think that she needs to be that thin. I had never fucking heard of her before I saw. I believe it was one of your guys' videos. I think it was Dash's first. But what's up, Austin?
Because I had made one. I made one like a year ago about her pink drink, and then that got kicked up and all that shit. Oh,
but she
where's mine? Where's mine? You keep
going. I saw the one, and I watched her one juice video, and she was like, I decided to go no makeup today, and I'm like, she's got makeup. I was like, she's got makeup spatula on like a fucking like a painter, like she's like got full. I've been married for a long time. I'm like, she's wearing makeup, motherfucker. I know that, and because I actually prefer my wife without makeup, just to be real. But I do. I swear I do. I really do.
I'm gonna go get Yoshi since you guys all have earrings.
Say hi. Okay. But
doesn't talk.
Awesome's pissed.
I don't have any animals. So.
Someone said, "Oh, look, kitties." I'm like, "That's not a cat."
But the bullshit she was doing, like where she had the sponsor, like she was like doing sponsorship videos and not releasing not disclosing they were sponsored. Like I was just like, what the fuck? I mean, it's a total fuck. It's another thing that gives people a bad name, and I find it like I find that shit like egregious. I really do. I find it when people. It's just like, again we talk about there's no scruples in the fitness quote unquote industry. Like, I mean, that's why I really like to consider myself like I'm in the health and wellness industry. Like I really do. Like I just want to get people healthy.
No, is there
a party hat on her since it was your birthday yesterday.
Oh my
thank you.
Even your dog cosplays now, man. It's crazy.
Michelle, by the way, since you started doing the cosplay stuff, how much is your popularity? Like, first of full,
it's such a good niche. It's so good.
Genius.
It's so unique. It's so good.
Every thumbnail, I'm like, whoa.
Well, because it merges two audiences, and you're the funny thing is, it used to be where like people would cosplay and like, well, they don't look like a superhero. Yeah. But now there's a lot of fit chicks and guys getting involved in cosplay, so they actually look like the fucking superhero. Yeah. So the total geeks must just fucking love you guys.
It's funny because my boyfriend goes to these conventions with me when I get super dressed up, and the geek guys are like really oddly into it.
Really oddly into it. Okay. I mean,
all the furries are on here.
Yeah, well, I just wasn't expecting that at all, and I think people like that I am fit and I have this background in fitness, but I'm also like a super nerd. Yeah. So putting it together, I actually really like it because a lot of people that watch like the stuff that I watch, like anime and whatnot, like they want to be able to look like people that they see on there.
It's called a superhero body for a reason.
But they don't relate to any of the fitness people because they're all juiced out and they're all, the bro kind of guys, and they just don't relate to it. So I do like that I started incorporating cosplay because I think it's opening the door for some other people to get interested into being a little bit more fit.
I mean, it's like, and don't get me wrong, sometimes some of the characters aren't my favorite. I'm always honest, but to do the videos in the character it's just really, it's genius fucking work. Yeah. And it totally differentiates you. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. Like, I mean, I call myself the angry bald man. Like there needs to be differentiation between you and other people, especially for a female YouTuber in fitness. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially for you guys, because it's like you're one of the very few females that does, like, every other thumbnail doesn't have your ass in it, and stuff like that.
It's all about booty. I always get the question, like, when are you gonna put a booty workout out, and like, when can you, like, how many? I feel like it's just so boring. And I don't want to be another one of those.
It's just
commoditized.
It's softcore porn. I mean, like, I mean, like the upward camera angle as every girl squats in tights. Let's be fucking real. That's not so we can see the angle of the squat better.
Bro, there's one account that the chick has the same picture in every. It's the same smile, the same butt. It's like arm workout. Here's my ass. That's like a complete like YouTube clickbait that they kind of try to push aside, but it's like what, like these kind of workouts are commoditized. Like we talk about, you go to Cavalier's page, he can do those all day long. Fine. Yeah. Why redo something? But I think there's like it's like that masturbation when you're watching yourself work out. Like it gets views, but it takes actual real content. And I think some integrity, but also the intent behind what the content you're creating. Like John, when you switched your content over, and Michelle, when you started like kind of, you found your niche, you're not going to figure out what resonates because it has to have a blend. And anyone that thinks that you're making, like you have to get views. Otherwise, what do you think a fucking view is? It's someone watching your shit. Why are you making videos? John, you make videos so people watch them. You want them to watch it and you hope that they like it. I make videos for people to see them and I hope that they like it. Alan, Michelle, everyone does. But so you need that kind of edge. You need that unique vibe. And everyone here has that. But if you go back to anyone's earlier videos, you go back in that fucking archive, not only are they terrible and embarrassing, but they're also like, you have to find your voice. And it doesn't mean that your thoughts necessarily have changed completely, but your delivery and your mastery of videos, how to edit, how to project your voice, and how to formulate your fucking opinions. Because for this podcast, I talk so much. Like, I mean, I've worked through so many concepts and so many different deliveries, and like my message, I could close my eyes and do a podcast. Like I have the glasses on. You don't know if my eyes are closed. They're closed right now. But at the same time,
I was thinking it's pretty smart that you use the glasses, because like you could be like totally doing something else, not even looking at the cameras. That's pretty smart.
I got to look at like 5 different things right now.
Yeah, with Michelle, it was I think that the cosplay thing is perfect, because like for me, Goku was my first like body goals. Like that's who I saw, and I'm also like super jealous because you always get people drawing you, and I'm always like, man, I love people to draw me, but you get someone drawing you like every video, you have a new drawing you can post. It must be nice.
No, I didn't know you were into Dragon Ball Z, but that was like, I wasn't into it when I was younger, but I always, when my brother was watching it, I always just loved the bodies, and I wanted something, a woman style body like that. So it definitely motivated me when I was younger. And I'm just very surprised that a lot of people who watch those shows aren't more into fitness, because I get very motivated. And it was kind of weird probably to you guys, but I get super motivated when I see Dragon Ball Z or superheroes in general. I just want to go work out, So I'm very surprised that more people that watch that stuff aren't motivated to be in.
We're talking about different, presenting yourself different on film. Like, I mean, it's your niche, but obviously it's you. Like that's the thing. Like I think that's why like people can tell like you genuinely like it, and the characters and shit like that. Like I find that like egregious when people put on like a persona. And you can so tell when they do. And people, I've had tons of people like think that like I do that. Like, no, motherfuckers, that's actually me. Like it could be kind of unfortunate sometimes, especially for my family members, but this is just how the fuck I am. Like occasionally, like I turn the swearing up just a little bit, but that's honestly, I think that's why it's so, it's done well. Like, I mean, for everybody in the room is like, as long as you like kind of like stick true to who you are, like to me, like, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to turn down YouTube money, because I have a firm belief that you don't ever turn down money. That's just fucking dumb. And I don't ever do something like, people ask me like why I started YouTube in general. Well, I needed a hobby that was based around fitness, because I was going to get back into the fitness world. And if I'm going to have a hobby, it's going to make me money. Like if I'm actually going to do something that's going to take time away from my family, it's going to make me money. Not that much. I believe the first year the goal was to be able to make enough money to take my wife out on a date. But like, I don't like, people are like, well, you get a lot better monetization if you didn't swear as much. And I mean, I'm sure that, Dash people told you not to say nuts on chin. That might get you a little bit more money. But like stuff like that. Like I to me, like when people worry about that, like when you worry about making the video that people will watch versus the video you want to make, that comes through so much. So like, and John, I think that's why your channel is still doing well compared to some of the other old guard, where you started doing stuff you wanted to do versus they kept doing stuff that they thought that would sell. And
authenticity.
Yeah, that rings through. Like they look fake as fuck because they are fake. I mean, I've met a good portion of their.
Who's the old guard? Because a lot of people in the comments are like, "Who are they talking about?" Because a lot of people got into YouTube maybe a couple years ago.
Like the Lane Nortons and the Jerry Wards and a few of the other old fitness guys and like some of the I mean, they can look them up.
You're in a house with Lane Norton and Jerry Ward. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wasn't.
I'm just joking.
I feel bad. Like, I mean, I used to make videos about Jerry Ward. Like, I mean, this is the last time I probably ever mentioned his name. I feel bad because I think he's full on fucking stupid and crazy. Like, and I mean, I don't mean that as an insult. I just really fucking believe that. Like, I mean, he was the guy that said that basketball was like. I remember when I was first losing my weight, I was doing live at 5 every morning, right?
I don't mean that as an insult. It's just stupid and fucking crazy.
Well, it's just what I feel. I just believe he's full on stupid and crazy. It's just that's what I fucking believe. But I told you that's just how I am. Me and Dash are gonna do a video together when I'm down in Florida here in a couple of months too.
Oh my god!
But like he recently, I was doing live at 5s, and I was talking like I would just answer questions because I stopped making videos. I was just losing weight. I was morphing my content over from just roast videos to actual talk about fitness. So I needed to show people what I was talking about. So I did live Q&A answering fitness questions for an hour every fucking day before I went to the gym. So I did it at 5 in the morning. So live at 5 in the car outside the gym, waiting for the gym to open, right? And one day they were like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Jerry Ward said that basketball is not cardio? Like, and I was like, I'm sure he meant like it's not, because people don't take it seriously enough, and like it's not an actual regime, and sometimes you play harder than others, so maybe it's not like directed cardio. I'm sure people misconstrued it, And the motherfucker doubled down and said, I made a video that came out that day and says, no, it's not cardio. If to be cardio, you have to be doing it on the treadmill and blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck. Now you put me in a spot where now I have to
say something. Yeah,
I have to say something, so I fucking tore his ass up. But I mean, like because it's stupid. Like, I mean, that type of shit is stupid. Like a guy that's made most of his career based off of taking copious amounts of drugs, who knows very little about his training, who spends himself entirely snapped. I mean, he's like, think in the last 2 years he's torn both pecs and fucking part of his lat and shit like that, lifting super lightweight. Like. And that's the problem. Like, these guys can't let it the fuck go. Like they can't let it the fuck go. They can't evolve into something. That's like the people that still talk about like, they had so much drama amongst themselves because they just had to start talking about each other because they ran out of content, that they're still stuck in that shit. When meanwhile, people are eating themselves to death or fucking, shit like that.
It's funny you brought up your channel, John, because I got a comment when I made a video about you, and someone was like, I miss when you used to post, the weight loss videos, and I like responding to comments, so I was like, I mean, people change, and how many weight loss videos can you get when he's already at the weight that he's at?
Well, that was so kind of like what you were talking about, Alan, like if you're always portraying this persona, one, it's a lot of work, I would assume, right? But then you're putting out this persona that you assume people are going to like. But then all of a sudden people aren't liking that persona anymore. So now you're getting hated on for this persona that you're not actually that's not even you. So It's this huge thing. And a lot of people, like, if you're constantly doing that, it just burns you out. And so for me, like, people probably see how I don't cuss on my channel, and they're like, oh, he probably just does that for monetization. I don't cuss. I just don't. It's just not. That's just how I am, right? I'm not putting on a persona like, oh, I'm just the nice guy on YouTube. Like, no, that's just how I am. It's how I've always been. And so, like,
I gotta take you drinking sometime, John.
I don't drink.
You're here so this live stream doesn't get shut down.
You're our nice friend.
No, but the thing,
but look, we have
friends.
But look, him. I'm trying to find where he.
I do appreciate that though when people say that, because like for me, I mean, I take pride in I guess how I put myself out there, but at the same time, it's not like I'm faking a persona. You get what I'm saying? And so I don't know. For me, I really appreciate all of you guys that say that about me, all the people that commented, because of course, like everybody likes to be complimented. Now, I had a question for you guys. This is completely off topic, but it's just been on my mind. And so we were kind of talking about how there's more women that are in the fat acceptance community, healthy at every size and stuff like that. Have you ever been accused of like being sexist because of that? Because I remember not that long ago, I was accused of, they're like, you're being like, why don't you ever talk about men when you're talking about this? And honestly, like, I was like, it kind of hurt me because that's never something I want people to think about me, right? And so like I had to take a step back, and like I was really thinking, I was talking to my girlfriend about this, like it hit me hard. And I know like you shouldn't let comments get to you, and most of the time I don't, but like hearing that about yourself, I don't know. I feel like no matter who you are, nobody wants to hear that, right? And so
I've made videos about that, like yelling at people, I think for male fat acceptance or the dad bod. I think I did it driving while gaining or something like that. It's a great question. I just don't give a shit. You can't give a shit. I mean, if you're, it goes back to that. Like, where are the guys? Where's the male fat acceptance? The moment someone shows up, I mean, I'm on it if Alan doesn't do it first. Like, I mean, it's and even so, I'll probably do it anyway.
Show me a 2 million follower Instagram male fat acceptance person who's on the cover of Cosmo or on the cover of GQ. When a morbidly obese guy is on the cover of GQ magazine, I'll hit that shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I tell people not to come at me with stupid fucking questions.
Yeah. And so that's what I kind of was like when I really took a step back and thought about and like took a step back and looked at the surroundings basically. That's what I came up with too. It was like, well, it's just not there. There's just not that many guys that are promoting this, what I feel is a lie, right? So why would I talk about it?
I brought it up before when I made a video about one of the fat positive influencers, and she messaged me and I asked her, you don't talk about the men who are obese. There's still, there are men that are obese, and she said they don't need a movement.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just they're so fucking hypocritical. It's just insane.
But
like they don't need to be accepted, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I thought you guys were all inclusive to everyone, and that's when she blocked me.
Well, it's that intersectionality. It's like, no, but that's the patriarchy. That's the male dominance. And it's like, oh, well, fuck me. Well, what are we even arguing about?
But people come at me with all sorts of stupid arguments and shit like that because they try. I've heard everything where I fat shame people. I challenge anybody to find anywhere where I've ever like derogatorily said something about an obese person. Like
that's what they block you. I've asked the same thing and they cannot find the actual statement that I said.
Yeah, I mean, I dare you. Like, cause even like, here's the thing, man. I've offered well, John, me and you have both offered help to what's her name?
Amberlyn Reed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm done with her, but I mean,
yeah, me too.
But because she started. Dude, like, don't go that rabbit hole. No. You don't need to go there. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
I'm here for the scraps.
Well, in reality, she wants people like us to make videos about her. She really, 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 really does. She is very like she's a very sick woman. I mean, she really is. But it's the same thing that she's highly monetized. It's what we were talking about earlier. She's highly monetized on YouTube. Like I don't understand how they can. Whoop. Cat's trying to kill me.
Where's that cat start and end? Jeez.
But I don't understand how YouTube can monetize her eating and shit like that. Like, I mean, you're monetizing self-harm. Like, I mean, they're monetizing self-harm. Watching her stuff her face, it hurts me so bad. Like, I feel like I've like.
Well, that takes us back to the Eugenia Cooney issue, and then her. They would never promote or really monetize someone that is promoting not eating, but they promote.
My argument with that is I do agree that they're monetizing her killing herself, but at the same time, if they did make a stance, that's them. They're kind of in a there's no winning, because if they did say, okay, we're going to demonetize her, now they're saying if you're this size and you're eating food, that's not allowed. So I think the only way they could do it is say, we are no longer supporting mukbang videos.
Which they should.
Any size.
Yeah.
Because if they said, if you're too heavy, that would be a huge deal, right? If you're over 300 pounds, you're not allowed to monetize. And if you're under 100 pounds, you're not, that's just a stance they're never going to take. So I don't think that it's ever going to come down to that, which, I mean, I think I've never been a fan of, the mukbang. I don't get it. If you like it, fine, that's fine.
So you're a part of mukbang at any size?
yeah, pretty much.
That's sketchy. What constitutes a mukbang, though?
It's true. It's true. Well, yeah, 100% though.
I'm kind of joking, kind of.
Yeah, but you're right though, because that's the argument they would use.
For sure.
What constitutes a swear word?
It's true.
Fuck, good question.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say that too. Like people are like, oh, you cuss too much. Like if the word hurts you so bad, like you've got so much other issues. Like I don't fucking get it. Like I really don't. Like I mean, all I do is talk. I literally talk about like, don't listen to this advice, you'll get hurt. Don't let yourself get morbidly obese and lie to yourself, you'll get hurt. Like my channel literally, like you can look at just about every video, unless I'm trying to be funny. You can look at like every video is like trying to help people from getting, cheated, hurt, or, endangering themselves. Every fucking video. And yet people are like, the first thing they say is like, well, the swearing. Like, you fucking stupid motherfuckers. I mean, that's why the human race is going to die out in a couple of fucking years. Like, I mean, we really have a population of people that are they're so sensitive they can't hear anything negative, or they don't want to hear anything out of their comfort zone.
Well, that's kind of why I started my channel. Label it the way that I labeled it, because I remember I woke up at 4 a.m. and went to the gym, and I posted it on Facebook, and someone got pissed off that I said, if you really want to get your workout in, you can get it in, and that was offensive. Yeah. So really anything you do is going to offend. I use the word booty hole, and someone got offended by booty hole. So would you rather me say ass, but then if I say ass, someone else is going to be offended by that.
I'm not going to say what I've said. I've said some things. I've said some things that are well documented, so I won't repeat them here.
Well, like for me, I've even been like, even my name, right? Even Obese Beast, that said that's offensive.
And that's you put an asterisk in your name, bro. You have to asterisk that.
Obese is a swear word. No, it is an offensive word. That is the stupidest shit I read that, and like I wish you guys I wish I should I can't video my entire day. It would drive me fucking crazy.
It's not fun. Yeah.
But when I read that, I fucking lost my shit. I was like I was like, are you fucking I checked the account to make sure it wasn't a troll account. Like, I mean, I was like, they're fucking serious. They really are saying like, obesity, it's a fucking medical term. I mean, it really is. Like,
I guess, it's not a medical term, but fat is a word. That's why my post got taken down today, because they used the word fat in it.
You had a post taken down today?
Yeah, it got taken down. It was for, it said harassment and something else. Like, it's going to make people feel bad about themselves.
I literally have posts that say, shut your fucking mouth. And that's never come down. That's ridiculous.
Instagram's getting fucking crazy. They really
I saw the thing. I saw a video about the girl that lost weight, and she did the before and after, and then it got taken down.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. I haven't interacted with her, but like, it's hard. So for me, I don't like to jump into things and be like, oh, that's definitely what it was. So I don't know her, but I'm curious if, like, I don't know. I wonder if there was something else that maybe got that post taken down, because I've put up a lot of transformation pictures, right? Like, a lot of them, and I've never had a single issue. So I'm just curious as to like what it was, because like if it was just by getting reported, I have a lot of people that don't like me now that would have reported every single.
How the fuck do you have people that don't like you? I mean, like, holy shit.
But
I'm just curious.
I was curious about the same thing, because I told you, I don't know if I told all of you, but I have friends that are in like that dance for like rappers and whatnot, and their profiles are very bootylicious, and I see them like twerking in their thongs, but I see some people that are in their little thong things, and they get it somehow gets taken down. So I'm just wondering what that line.
Some accounts get away with like literally pretty much everything, and they're up and they have massive followings. It might be something along the lines of where they're getting their money from. Maybe they're running ads, maybe they're paying for it, maybe they have a good manager that does reach arounds for those people at Facebook. Like, who knows? There's a lot. I mean, I've heard of Alan, we've both kind of like dealt with the trolling and stuff. I mean, if you spam someone's page and you report it enough, a lot of these algorithms automatically block and then check later, and then you have to get it reinstated. It's like, oh, by defense, it's like maybe someone's getting murdered live on camera. It's like, let's remove it by default if there's enough like outlash. But it's crazy that you got your post removed today. Was that the Hulk one? The one that you reposted again?
Yeah, I reposted it.
Hey, fat's not a
without the word fat in it, and it seems it's doing fine.
Well, Meg squat. I mean, in the video I made the other day, Meg squats had a post just her standing there in a fucking bikini taken down.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, she wasn't even asked first to the fucking camera. You know, like fucking crazy shit. It's fucking almost 8 o'clock and I gotta piss. We'll wrap this up.
Fucking hold it, man. Everyone wants to see, bro. You're live. So let's go around the horn quick. I mean, does anyone have any last closing statements? Why don't you say goodbye first, Alan, so you can go take a piss?
Yeah, I gotta go.
I've turned into a fucking camel doing this podcast. So tell everyone where they can find.
I drank 3 beers right at the very beginning. So.
Well, I didn't tell you. I drink like 16 ounces of. I didn't tell you to drink 3 beers, but I'm down for it. So tell everyone where they can find you, bro.
I'm Alan Roberts, Every Damn Day Fitness. I'm the Angry Bald Man. Just look me up.
That's the slowest you've ever said that ever.
I know.
So
I
everyone's
can hear
like,
it.
Every Damn Day Fitness. All right, bro. So you can bounce out if you want. But Michelle, rep your shit.
Yeah, my channel name is My Thoughts Will Probably Offend You, and my Instagram is just my name with an underscore in the middle, Michelle_McDaniel. And if you are not sensitive and able to withstand facts, you can check out my channel.
And John, my brother.
Yeah, so my name's John, Obese to Beast on YouTube and Instagram. And I also do have a podcast that I do with my brother. It's called Work for Change. If you want to check that out. It's not daily or anything like that, and they're not as long, but they're fun. We talk about tons of different stuff. So if you like podcasts.
Awesome, bro. I think everyone here does like podcasts, and I appreciate the length and the time. I know we could all probably just talk forever. Hopefully we could do it again real soon, and get some other people in here as well. But I appreciate all your time, and I know everyone else does as well. So thank you all for being here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks, dude.
All right, guys, you got it. And for everyone else, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1182 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow for 1183. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.